WHCS Channel 29 presents Group AAA Peninsula District Football. The Kecoughtan Warriors and the Phoebus Phantoms. From Todd Stadium in Newport News, Virginia, this is Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble. Welcome to our game of the week. The Kecoughtan Warriors 2-4 and the Phoebus Phantoms 5-1. Bob, both of these teams are coming into this game in a kind of a precarious situation.
Well, they really are. Phoebus played Hampton last week, as most people know, and they had a lot of injuries, Tim. And what Bill D's got to do is get his fellas back mentally, because they are a good team. They got beat by a good Hampton team. On the other hand, you got Kecoughtan coming in here with a real big win last week from going across the water. In fact, they'd like to play all their games over there. That's where they've won. But this is Kecoughtan homecoming. These kids live very close to each other, so it's a natural rivalry, and we'll probably see a real good game tonight.
I'm sure we will. Phoebus, as you mentioned, Bob, losing a tough game to Hampton. They are physically beat up. They have several players who will see probably limited action tonight because of that fact. Kecoughtan, on the other hand, has the momentum going for them. They've won 2 games this year, both of them on the other side of the water. We jokingly mentioned to a couple of Kecoughtan coaches they might want to continue to try and play all their games in the Southside District or the Beach District. But on a serious note, Kecoughtan knows they've got their hands full tonight. These kids live right next to each other, so the rivalry is built in. It is homecoming for Kecoughtan. They'll be up for the game. Phoebus looking to make their way into the playoffs in Division 5 at least, so they'll want to win this game as well. So we should have a real good game. We'll be back with the starting lineups, but first, A.G. Womble had a chance to talk to the opposing coaches.
Okay, we got Kecoughtan coach Kurt Newsom, and Kurt coming off a big impressive win over Maury, 31-6. Your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, it seems like we play our best football on the other side of the water up to this point. We're hoping we can play better football over at Todd Field. We're playing a fine Phoebus High School football team tonight, and we have to play our best to stay in the football game.
How did practice go this week?
We had 5 good work days, and we feel like we've got a lot of confidence now after the win, and we feel good about our football team right now.
Kurt, what about Phoebus? What do you expect from them tonight, and what are you going to have to do to stop them?
Well, I think Chris Witz, is a very dangerous quarterback. Phoebus is loaded with talent, and they're a fine football team, and you have to take Witz out of the offense. And, of course, Maurice Turner is one of the district leaders at a running back position.
Any surprises tonight from the Warrior playbook?
No, we're just going to be basic and try to play good sound football and with no mistakes.
Kurt, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we got Phoebus coach Bill D. And Bill, your thoughts on tonight's game and how'd practice go this week?
Well, I thought practice went well as could be expected after a tough loss, to Hampton last week. They really dominated us, and we were disappointed about that. And we're hoping we can bounce back tonight. Of course, we've got Kecoughtan's improved tremendously since the beginning of the year, and we expect a very tough football game.
What do you expect from Kecoughtan tonight?
Well, they've run the outside. They've run the veer, and they've run outside and inside veer very well, and their quarterback's throwing the ball real well this year. We expect them to do pretty much what they've been doing, maybe a little wrinkle here and there. It's their homecoming, so I'm sure they're real excited about having a shot at us tonight.
What about the condition of your players?
Well, we got a few guys that are banged up. We lost our center in the middle of this week. He'd be out for a couple of weeks, but, that's part of the football game, so we just got to go ahead and do the best we can.
Any special plays on the Phantom?
Just hopefully we can run the plays we have as well, better than we did last week.
Okay, Bill, good luck tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble back at Todd Stadium. There you see the man on the move tonight. And we are here on a beautiful night for football at Todd Stadium. Game time temperature about 65 degrees, a light breeze, or if it breezed at all, the flag is lying completely still. And there you see some of the fans here for Kecoughtan's homecoming. And while we have this opportunity, let's run down the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. First of all, for the Phantoms on defense, Bob.
Okay, Tim, we have at nose guard number 67, Tim Williams. At tackle is Chris Black. At the other tackle position is Vince Kirkendall. At the defensive end positions, a big guy, Booker Cox, along with Doug Glover. At the linebacking positions for the Phantoms is Tom Bodie and Kirk Burke. At the cornerbacks, Mike Artis and Eric Cherry. At the free safety, John Ross, and at the strong safety, Ellis Boyd.
And you are watching the marching band for Kecoughtan High School, as we'll show you now the Offensive lineup for the Phoebus Phantoms: at quarterback, Chris Witz. Fullback is Tom Bodie. Tailback is Maurice Turner. Mike Artis is the flanker. The end is Richards. The other end is Burke. The tackles are Black and Cox. The guards are Hicks and Tim Williams. Center is Jones. The wideout is John Ross. And the punter will be Andre Ross. And let me take this opportunity, Bob, to apologize to Tony Miller for incorrectly giving credit for last week's touchdown scored by Miller. In fact, I said Maurice Turner scored the touchdown, and I certainly want to correct that. I apologize to Tony Miller for incorrectly giving the credit to the wrong man. So I think we're squared away.
He knows who scored the touchdown. I'm sure.
I hope our fans know as well. So.
Okay, Tim, we get a chance. Now we'll go ahead and go through the rest of the lineups. Here we have the Warrior defense. At the tackle positions for Kecoughtan is Vince Thomas. At the other tackle, Lewis Saunders. At the defensive ends, Mike Thacker and Herman Rowe. At the linebacking positions on the inside linebackers, David Heath. And starting tonight for the first time since the first game, the other starting inside linebacker is Curtis Wilson. They're glad to have him back. The outside linebackers, Joe Becknell, Jimmy Bembry. Cornerbacks, Brian Whitley, Joe Fluellen, and the safety is James McRae.
Now for the Warriors on offense. They are led by quarterback Kermit Buggs. The halfback is Joe Becknell. The other halfback, Irving. Joe Fluellen is the split end. The flanker back is Brian Whitley. Brown is the tight end. The tackles are Rouse and Robinson. The guards are Heath and Thomas, and the center is Meadows.
Well, Tim, I just wanted to let people know that there may be a couple of changes in the Phoebus offense and defensive positions. They were had some injuries at the first of the week, and some of these young men will bounce back pretty quick and get back on it, but we'll keep an eye on it. Some of the people that were hurt with Tim Williams and John Bodie, Glover, and Booker Cox, and Mike Artist all had some injuries after that Hampton game. There you see the coaches for the two teams, head coach Bill D. of Phoebus and Kirk Newsom of Kecoughtan.
And if I may, I'll do the assistant coaches for Kecoughtan. They are Mike Horton, Tyrus Woodard, Revis Conrad, and Al Morrow. The athletic director is Johnny Pauls, and the principal is Dennis Gilligan.
And over there at Phoebus, assisting Bill D. is Tom McIntyre, Mike Talon, Mike Williams, Greg Navard, and the principal over there is Clayton Washington. And we see the captains for both teams going out to meet in the center of the field, Tim.
And a large contingent from each of the teams along with them. A.G. Womble is down at the center of the field, and we'll have him there for the toss of the coin and the introduction of the officials, which is momentarily forthcoming. A.G., take it away.
Captain Witt. How you doing tonight, son? Number 48, Captain Bodie. How are you tonight, fellas? Green captains for tonight, Mr. Bucknell, Mr. Irving, Mr. Heath, and Mr. Rouse. Y'all shake hands, fellas. Introduce yourselves.
So these boys know each other.
Yes, gentlemen, your other officials for tonight, Mr. Owens will be the umpire, Mr. Short will be the head linesman, Mr. Collier is the back judge, and Mr. Boney is the line judge. Okay, fellas? You would have the coin that's a head and that's a tail. Okay? Right near the visitor, you get to call the toss. Loud in the air, please. Tails, you said, okay, is a tail. You've won the toss. You want to receive now? Receive this ball now. Which one would you like to defend? You want to defend this goal? Put your back to this goal. Put your back to this goal, please. Right pointed toss, and they'll receive when it's in. Okay, fellas, bring your teams out.
All right, so there you see it. The Phantoms will receive, and they'll be going from our left to our right. Of course, they're the visitors tonight. They have the blue pants with the white jerseys and gold numerals. Kecoughtan in the solid green uniforms with the white numerals, and they are looking for victory 2 in a row should they be able to defeat the Phoebus Phantoms. Bob, you have to wonder, you're a former coach and you would know more about this than I. How difficult is it for Bill D to get his team up after that heartbreaking loss to Hampton last week?
Tim, it's going to take a momentous effort by all the coaching staff of Phoebus, because those young men came into this game last Saturday night. We saw 8,000 people here, and they were all fired up, ready to win that game. And that was a big letdown emotionally. And it's hard to build that back up, but you have to take it one step at a time and tell the kids, listen, that does not constitute the season. We can still get into the playoffs. We've got to get out there and play, and especially now, since Bethel lost that game last night to Pulaski County, that really gives Phoebus a nice edge if they can go ahead and win it, because the next week, as you know, you and I will be over to Hampton University doing the Bethel Phoebus ball game.
Brian Reeves has the ball teed up for the Kecoughtan Warriors. And we are about set to get underway as the Phantoms will receive the ball. And it's going to skip, well, I started saying into the end zone, but it's actually fielded at the 1 yard line. Then it's fumbled. Mike Artis trouble with the ball. And let's see who's got it. Phoebus can.
Tim, that was a real dangerous call, because once the ball goes in the end zone, it comes out to the 20, and that's what Mike Artis was going to let it do, but the ball decided to stop right at the 1 foot line, which means that whoever downed it was their ball. It was a free ball at that point.
Phoebus dodges the bullet early in the ball game. They've got it at their 4 yard line. Mike Artis had trouble with that ball, and as you said, he expected it more or less to dribble into the end zone, but it took a Kecoughtan bounce and stayed out of the end zone, and that ball was up for grabs. Chris Witz, the quarterback for Phoebus, out to about the 6 yard line.
Tim, I don't want to put a bad spell on Phoebus, but if you remember last week when they were playing Hampton, they started off in the hole, but you know, they got to get field position because they're really limited to what they can do if they're down there inside their 10 yard line. That limits you to be very much more conservative in your play calling.
Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8 for the Phantoms from their 6. Inside for Mike Artis on the reverse. He gets out to about the 14 yard line. So on the inside reverse, Mike Artis picks up yardage to the 14, very close to a first down. They have not indicated that it is a first down, so apparently they'll be just shy. They need to cross the 14, and the ball is just on the other side. So it's 3rd down and inches for the Phantoms. There you look right into the huddle as Chris Witz calls the play. Just underway from Todd Stadium, 10 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the first quarter. Stacked up close to the 15. It looks like he'll have enough for the first down.
Well, Tim, I believe he got the first down, but Kecoughtan defense really came up tough that time. But like you said, he only needed just a couple inches, so he had to break over into the 14 yard line. Looks like to spot the ball at the 15.
Tony Miller gets the first down of the ball game.
It looks like, excuse me, Tim, looks like most of the Phoebus ball players that we had expected are in there, so they're probably in there playing hurt.
Ball just resting on the 15, first down. Phantoms trying to rebound from that loss to Hampton. Couple of tough yards. Maurice Turner, the ball carrier for the Phantoms. In on the stop was Herman Rouse, number 77 for Kecoughtan.
You and I were talking earlier to Tyrus Woodard, and he was saying maybe we ought to take the team through the tunnel and before we came out here tonight.
Tony Miller struggling for some tough yards.
Well, Kecoughtan is not getting them anything easy, Tim. They really have to work for it. But now they're in a situation where, well, I guess it's what, 3rd and about 3. So this is still a running position, but it's also, it could be a pass play at this point.
Maurice Turner, I correct myself again. I have trouble with these guys every time. This is Turner, right side. He's got first down yardage, and he may have more. It's a race down the sidelines. He's going to be caught from behind, but not before Maurice Turner gives Phoebus ball position at the 19-yard line of Kecoughtan.
And, Tim, that happens a lot of times when you're in a real tight defense like Kecoughtan was, expecting the ball to come up the middle. Everybody pinches inside. The runner popped to the outside and showed excellent speed, although he was caught from behind by the Kecoughtan Warrior.
We're going to have a replay, but Brian Whitley was the man who prevented Phoebus from scoring. Here you see Turner just gets outside, and once Turner gets outside, he's got great speed as he races down the sideline. Good camera work, folks. You got him right in there. There you see Whitley coming into your screen, and he makes the stop at the 19-yard line. Driving forward for tough yardage is Tony Miller, as Phoebus now will have the ball at about the 17 of Kecoughtan. So that play started at the 15, and they brought it all the way down to the 19. So that's 35 and another 20. That would be 45. Help me out here.
You're doing much better than I.
I got a statistician's going to tell me how long that last run was.
Tim, I don't have my calculator, so don't ask me.
Second down and about 7 for the Phantoms. On the option, pitch it back. This is Miller racing for the corner. And he's going to get in. Touchdown.
Tim, one of the defensive ball players knocked down another one that had a chance for the tackle at that time, and that broke him loose around that left side.
Well, I did it again. This time I gave Miller credit for Turner's score. That's Turner, Maurice Turner, number 22, who scampered around the left side for a 17-yard touchdown.
And we'll get a chance to see that on replay, Tim. That was an excellent run. He really followed his blockers real well, but he got a good hand. Here you can see Witt's coming down. He pitches the ball before he gets hit, and as he makes his cut, the defense, look right there, Kecoughtan Warrior ran into another one, which really kind of freed him.
And Whitley had the last chance at him, but he was stiff-armed off the play, and the extra point is good.
And that's a tremendous drive, Tim. That's a 96-yard drive. That started at the 4-yard line, and how much time went off the clock?
Well, let's see here. That was, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So let's face it, the big part of that was the, let me see if I can get the number of yards.
8 plays.
The number of yards on that big run by Turner. 58 yards. So
give credit to where you're getting these fantastic.
My calculator, Jerry Zomplis, just told me that Turner raced 58 yards on that big run around the right side, and then Turner took it in. And it's 7-0 in favor of Phoebus. Kecoughtan coming into the game having beaten a Maury High School team. Their second victory of the year, and the other victory came at the hands of the Norview Pilots. So Kecoughtan's had success outside the district and hope to change that this evening with a victory over Phoebus. But they're going to have to play better defense than they did on that first drive.
They sure are, Tim. We have seen a lot of times when the kickers have different colored shoes on, but we have a kicker out there who's got different colored pants on than anybody else. So you'll be able to spot the kicker.
Kevin Rogers is the kicker. It's taken at the 16-yard line. This is Whitley, and he's out to the 28-29. A flag comes down.
And that came in kind of late, Tim, and it's usually an illegal block or a block from behind or something like that when you have a run back.
Well, it's going to be a clip against Kecoughtan. So their fortunes take a continued turn for the worse.
Really will. That'll put them in the hole like Phoebus started off. And here's the replay of that. I don't know if we can pick up the clip or not, but you see straight ahead.
Yeah, it looked like for Phoebus, looked like number 15 might have been clipped, Rudy McEachin, but I didn't see who did it. It was kind of hard to pick up. But there you see the referee indicate clipping the call. It'll mark the ball back to the 19-yard line. 14-yard line. And Kecoughtan will start from there on their initial possession of the ball game. They find themselves trailing 7-0. And a similar number 7 at quarterback is Kermit Buggs, who we've seen in the past, and he is a good one. Looks like the ball came loose. Another flag goes down. Joe Becknell, the ball carrier for Kecoughtan, but a flag on the play, and it's against Kecoughtan.
You're going to see Becknell and Flewellen and Buggs are the main ball runners there. But, Tim, that was a late flag, and I have no idea what it is. But it looks like he's talking to the Phoebus Phantoms, and it's very possibly his illegal motion, and that's what the call is.
They'll decline the call, Phoebus will, because there was no gain on the play. And they'll take the down instead. Actually, there was a negligible gain, a gain of about a yard, so they'll let the play stand. And it'll be second down and about 8.5. Inside handoff goes to number 8, Curtis Irving. We've just been informed of something that we anticipated would happen. At least I heard it over the PA, that Terry Kirby has become the all-time rushing leader.
He needed 45 yards, Tim, and the guy's been averaging about 200 a game.
So he will go on and add many yards to that, and our congratulations go out to Terry Kirby and to continued success for Tabb High School. They are ranked number 1 in the state in Group AA. Kecoughtan now third down and about 6. On the delayed handoff, it's again Irving crossing the 20 to about the 22, and that's going to be well short of the first down. They need to get to the 24, so they'll come up about 2 yards shy, and they'll bring on the kicker. Let's watch this again on the replay.
It's just a draw play, Tim. He goes back and he shows the ball.
Well, we'll have to hold on for that because we're going to have the punt now. Low snap, but the right-footed kicker gets a low end-over-end kick, and Kecoughtan will down the ball at their 48-yard line.
Well, that is terrible field position.
Well, it's great field position. It's terrible.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Great field position for Phoebus. Terrible kick. It was a low, and he really hurried the kick, and that's why he didn't get much of a foot into it.
Well, 2 other Hampton schools had a tough time of it Friday night. Hampton came away with a hard-fought 21-14 victory over the Ferguson Mariners. And by the way, they're discussing a infraction. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage, so something I didn't detect, but they are talking to Kecoughtan.
Yeah, there is a flag, and if it's against Phoebus, that will be a first down because they have less than 5 to go.
Let's see what they call. They're going to bring them back, and it looks like Kecoughtan will keep possession of the ball, I believe.
And I believe Sam is telling me that's a holding against the Phantom. So let's see what the referee, Dave Riesbeck, has to say. Number 72, the man in the white hat.
There you see,
illegal block. Illegal block. Well, that's a nice break for Kecoughtan because they sure gave Phoebus tremendous field position.
Let me finish that thought I had. At any rate, Hampton came away with a last quarter comeback victory over Ferguson, 21-14, as Mike Smith's Charges have won 6 in a row within the district. Their only loss, the opening season loss to Tabb. And Bethel, who had been riding the streak, fell victim to Pulaski County 7-6 on a last-second play in that ball game. So we're sorry to hear that Bethel lost outside the district, but it will not count in the district standings, and they will continue to be amongst the leaders in that particular ranking.
That was just the veer option is what Kecoughtan runs. They run the veer, and that time Bugs kept the ball, went around the right side, Tim, and picked up about 5 yards.
Coming into this game, Hampton was ranked number 2 in the state. Phoebus, after that loss last week, we watched the replay. As you watch, there is Bugs, and he keeps, as you mentioned, on the option play. Picked up pretty good yardage. Picked up about 6. Second down and 4. This is Becknell. Becknell has big yardage. He may go all the way. He's in there. Oh, what a super effort.
I tell you what, Tim, I did not think he was going to make it. It looked like he was going to get caught, and he just dove in. But that's just a real simple cross-buck play off a line of scrimmage, and they caught Phoebus in the wrong defense and popped that thing. We're going to get another look at that, Tim, but that was an excellent effort.
Becknell, number 1, takes the handoff, bursts through the line, and he is gone all the way. He really wanted that touchdown. He had a race with, watch number 2 for Phoebus. That's Ellis Boyd, who just can't quite catch up with it. Here's a man coming into your screen who had a better angle on him. That was Eric Cherry. As you see, the extra point try is good. Eric Cherry had a shot at him, but Becknell was just not going to give it up.
No, he was determined he was going to get in, but Tim, that all goes back to that penalty against the Phantoms there on the punt. That turns this whole thing around, gives the Warriors back the ball, they score, and that's what happened last week when Phoebus made a mistake, whether it was a turnover or whatever. Hampton capitalized on it, and tonight the Warriors capitalized on it.
A 62-yarder. Joe Becknell makes it 7-all with the extra point conversion by Kecoughtan. 4:35 remains here in the first quarter. So both teams have had a big running attack. Turner ran 58 yards to set up Phoebus's touchdown. And now Joe Becknell returns the favor with a 62-yarder.
Well, Tim, we have yet to see the ball put in the air on the pass. Both of these young men can pass the ball. That was an excellent kickoff. Go all the way back to the 3-yard line.
This is Mike Artis. Artis is out across the 20 to about the 23.
And that was number 41 for the Warriors who made that tackle. That was Terrence Grant that made that tackle on that kickoff.
Let me see the last part of this. Watch, just coming into your screen momentarily will be Eric Cherry right there with the official. There you see Cherry at about the 10-yard line. He's even with Becknell. He gets a hold of him about the 5, and Becknell was just not going to be denied.
He just dove into the last 4 yards.
Super effort. About 4 yards for Phoebus on the carry.
Tim, there's a little different crowd than we had last week.
Little is unfortunately the word here because there's not a great number of fans in attendance for tonight's game.
Well, on the home side, it seems to be filling up, but this is the homecoming, so it looks like it's filling up a little more on this home side, Tim.
Miller and Turner, the backfield. This is Miller as he gets out across the 30, close to a first down. Looks like it'll be about a yard shy of the first down. Tony Miller, who 2 games ago had a really good evening, had over 120 yards in that game with Ferguson.
But Kecoughtan is getting their defense spread out a little bit by the 2 wideouts that Phoebus is showing. And of course, as it spreads your defense out, that makes it a little easier for your offense. And all he did was just a power dive up the middle to pick up that first down.
Tony Miller gets the first down. They've marked the ball right at the 35. We're seeing Tony Miller tonight instead of Tom Bodie. As you mentioned, Tom was one of the players coming into this game that was playing hurt.
Well, and if they would use him, Tim, as we see the replay here, he will play more defense than he will offense because they've got a lot of confidence in Miller. As the season progresses, he has really begun to show him he's quite a runner.
First down at the 35 for Phoebus. Pitch back goes to Turner. Turner gets maybe 2. You know, I got to take my hat off. I was thinking about this over the week as we were preparing for this game. The players on these teams that go both ways really have to be in tip-top condition. You know, I was just thinking about it. It's enough for a young man. Of course, these guys are young and I'm old. But it's enough for a man to play, you know, just offense or just defense. But both Phoebus and Kecoughtan and Hampton and Bethel and all the teams in the district have several players that go both offense and defense. And my hat is off to those fellas because that is tough. This is Turner. And he is not going to be stopped. He's going to go all the way.
Tim, he does an excellent job of following his blockers. I don't see any flags, so that was an excellent play. But he did a good job on it after getting the ball off the pitch of watching where his blockers were and making some fine cuts. And, of course, there was a couple of missed tackles, and he made it into the end zone.
This almost exactly the same distance as Becknell's. The Becknell's was between 42 and 43 yards. Turner, at 62 and 63 yards, and Turner's is about 63 yards as well. So we're seeing a real explosive running attack.
We sure would. Tim, Sam just made a nice point. The Kecoughtan guys congratulated the Phoebus ball carrier after that long run.
Kevin Rogers kicks the extra point.
Here we see the replay, Tim, as Bugs goes down and he pitches just as he gets hit.
He led him nicely too.
Right, but now watch this, the way he sets up his blockers. and then there was a missed tackle there. He split the blockers and went all the way down and just outran most of them. Who was that, number 2? Is Llewellyn had a nice shot at him, but went too high. You got to get his legs. And 21 makes a last-ditch effort, but he's already in the end zone, and that's Brian Whitley. But that was a great run by Miller.
Tony Richards ran some good interference for him as well. That, by the way, is 156 yards in the ball game now for Turner. He's had runs of 58 and 62, so he's already got 156 yards in just one quarter. Look out, Terry Kirby.
And we still got a minute to go.
Kevin Rogers kicks off for Phoebus. And Kecoughtan brings it out to about the 32. So Turner now has runs of 58 and 62. And he also had a 17-yard touchdown run in there as well. So he's got 2 TDs. Maurice Turner tearing up the Kecoughtan defense right now. We'll see the replay now of the kickoff.
He just takes it up the middle, Tim. There's nothing fancy. He's just trying to find a lane and pop that through.
Kecoughtan sets up at their 32. In motion comes Freddie Williams. This is Curtis Irving carrying the ball. He's out across the 35. Well, we've got another big one coming up next Saturday afternoon at Hampton University.
Well, you talking about a big one. That is going to be a big one. Because it's going to have a lot to do who's going to be ranked top in Division 5 of the AAA this year.
And who's in that game? Who's playing that game?
That's Phoebus and Bethel. It'll be played at Hampton University at 2 o'clock next Saturday afternoon, which will be the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So we'd like to encourage all the fans to come out and see that ball game, because that will be an excellent ball game.
Terrence Giant, the ball carrier for Kecoughtan. It's 3rd down and about, well, let's call it 3. It's about 2.5 yards to go for the first down. Yeah, that game is at Hampton University, so there's no excuse for you fans out there in Hampton not to make the trek over to HU's refurbished field over there. I haven't been to Hampton University since they rebuilt the press box and everything. Our statistician tonight, Jerry Zomplis, has worked over at Hampton University for some time now as the sports information director until recently.
Well, Tim, they put the new lights up, so they do have new lights now at the Hampton University Stadium, which leads me to believe that that's where the Hampton games will be played. Hampton home games will be played next year, because there's only 5 Pirate home games, and normally they play them in the afternoon. So that leaves Friday night and Saturday nights open for the Peninsula District and the Hampton schools. So we will be coming from Hampton University next year. So next year you're the one that's going to have to drive, and I'm going to be right next in my backyard. Okay.
A costly delay of game penalty charged to Kecoughtan, or at least it could be costly. They had 3rd and 3. Now they've got 3rd and 8. And Bugs will drop straight back, gets good protection, steps up in the pocket, throws downfield, has a man open, and he's got it at the 44-yard line, and finally is stopped at the 42.
That was Joe Llewellyn, Tim, and he did a good job of coming back to get that ball.
Bugs did a good job of avoiding being sacked as well. He felt the pressure, stepped up in the pocket.
And we got something coming from AG. Go ahead, AG.
Tim, yeah, we got some happy cheerleaders over here, and let's say you're up 14-7. Your thoughts so far?
We're gonna jam. We're gonna beat them. We're taking it to state this year. We're going all the way.
Can this team go all the way?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I tell you what, if there's a cheerleader around, AG can find them.
Well, I couldn't find him at the first. He's on the far side of the field. He's over there.
Tim, these girls demanded to be on.
Yeah, sure. I got some land down in Florida I want to sell you.
I just was told we got a replay. I don't know whether we had a replay of AG's interview with the ladies or not. No, this is the replay
of the pass. Now, he does a good job avoiding the rush, like you said, but you can't see Llewellyn, because Llewellyn broke off his pass pattern and came back to get the ball. He was coming back towards the ball. As you can see, he's coming in and makes an excellent job of catching the ball, and knowing he was going to get hit after he got it, he hung on to the ball. We had a change of end of the quarter, so we're changing ends of the field here.
Our score after one quarter finds Phoebus on top 14-7, as they have 2 TDs from Maurice Turner, and Joe Becknell has scored once for Kecoughtan. 14-7 after one. Kecoughtan, this is Kermit Buggs on the option play. He keeps it, and he's dragged out of bounds inside the 25 and about the 24, but not before he gets first down yardage for Kecoughtan.
Well, Tim, I want to tell you something. John Ross gave him, after he was out of bounds, really slung him into the ground, but Joe Buggs did a good job of, Kermit Buggs, did a good job of just jumping up and keep right on going. Here we see the replay. Well, I think it should be unnecessary roughness. We're hearing that from the thing because he is already out of bounds. You see the young man, he carries him, he's out of bounds, and then he just really throws him down.
But he started to tackle him while he was inbounds, so that's a tough call.
Yeah,
of course, and that is a judgment call. Coming right back, calling his own number again, is Kermit Buggs.
Well, it didn't hurt him. He jumped right up, Tim.
In on the stop, Tom Bodie, as you mentioned, one of the players who normally sees offensive and defensive action for Phoebus, but because he's slowed by some injuries, he will be playing defense only. And that's a very important loss in a sense to Phoebus in their attack, but they pick up a lot of help from Tony Miller, who's really come on strong the last couple of games.
He really has, Tim.
Second down and about 6 for Kecoughtan. Ball marked out inside the 20. This is Becknell. Becknell gets a yard, maybe 2 at the most.
That was very similar to the play that Kecoughtan scored on. It was just like almost what we used to call a cross buck in the backfield. Off of that veer, you've got a split backfield. One runner goes one side, and the other one goes the other side, and they just kind of cross in the backfield. But that brings up a third down and looks like about 4, Tim.
And Kecoughtan is calling time. Kermit Buggs was indicating to the sidelines. You may have seen him on your picture there. He was asking the coach for the play. And then when the play was sent in, he decided to call timeout. I don't know whether he had a play in mind or he needed to get their act together. This is an important series of downs for Kecoughtan, as they have been burned for a couple of big gainers and had one of their own as Becknell returned the favor. We're going to watch that last play again here in just a moment. See what you... This is Kermit Buggs, the quarterback.
There's the crossbuck. He fakes to number 8 going off the right side and hands it the other side coming into Becknell. And I apologize for calling Kermit Joe, but that's his dad. Joe Buggs is the head football coach over Smithfield. And I've known Joe, used to coach at Mansfield High School, so when I see that, I might call Kermit Buggs Joe. It's no reflection on Kermit. He's a much better ball player than his daddy anyway.
10:48 remaining in the first half. Kecoughtan trailing by 7. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Wobble coming to you from Todd Stadium Saturday night, October the 15th, 1988. This is Curtis Irving getting first down yardage.
Tim, that was an excellent effort because he was tripped up and almost lost his balance, but Kermit Buggs, again held onto the ball to the last second before he pitched it. And that veer option is really working for him right now, as we're going to get a chance to see that on replay.
Ball is marked at the Phoebus 11.
You can see right here, he almost gets tripped up, and he finally just dives forward and gets the first down. And they're on about the 11-yard line, so they can get a first down.
Kermit Buggs down inside the 5 to about the 3.
But Tim, they could get a first down without scoring, is the point I was trying to make there. And there's a good shot of the Phoebus sideline over there. Was Mike Talon for a second we saw, but now he's got about 1.5 yards, 2 yards to go, and he can pick up a first down. So there's
Mike Talon with his hands on his hips. Okay, let's watch the replay. This is a good job on the part. Looked like for a moment that he was going to get in there, but a good defensive effort to slow him down by John Ross of Phoebus. And now Kecoughtan is going to, Phoebus is going to take a timeout.
Yeah, I was watching the coaches on the sideline, and McIntyre, the offensive coordinator, was signaling for the defensive coordinator was signaling for a timeout. And there you can see a good shot of Coach Kirk Newsom in the huddle with his offense, because they want to score now. You got to score when you get down here. Get get back into the ball game, get a tie game, and you start feeling good for yourself, because you have given up 2 real long runs, Tim, and that could break the back of a team. But these 2 teams are out there fighting. Neither one of them are giving up.
Well, Kecoughtan is looking for their first victory in the district. They have gone outside the district for 2 wins. They defeated a highly touted Norview team a couple of weeks ago, and then they came back last week and defeated the Maury Commodores, a team that the Peninsula District used to play in the old days of the Eastern Regional District. Back when I was in high school, they didn't have Peninsula and Beach and Southside. They had one district.
That's right.
And they had Maury and Great Bridge and Princess Anne and Hampton and Newport News, and those were the good old days, as they say.
I hear you talking.
Second down and about 2 for the first down, and 3 for a touchdown. And getting in there, good effort on Curtis Irving's part.
Tim, he was in there for a couple, 3 seconds before the official really signaled the touchdown. I don't know what he was waiting for, but that was an excellent effort.
So with 9:42 remaining here in the first half, Kecoughtan has answered the call again. Curtis Irving going in from 3 yards out and trying the extra point now for Kecoughtan.
That's Brian Reeves.
Brian Reeves' kick is good.
And we right back into a tie ball game. And here's a good chance to see this thing. And look at the extra effort he gives, Tim, after Bugs hands off the ball right there. He hits right there. He's tackled, and he just keeps driving. And he's into the end zone right now, and the official is still not calling a touchdown. So I don't know what
it's really close. He's going right along that line, and that second effort. You see the official there was looking in. He didn't want to call it prematurely. And to his credit, we will say so, because it was close enough. He was at the line, and it was going to be one of those situations where, as most football fans know, only the ball has to cross the plane of the goal line. And it was close enough, but Kecoughtan got it in there on a good effort by Curtis Irving. And, both offensive lines are really making big holes for their team. So let's give credit to the Kecoughtan offensive line there for moving back a very strong Phoebus defensive team. Let's remember, Phoebus hadn't given up at 21 points in their first 5 ball games until last week.
That's true, Tim.
And here's Kecoughtan now, has scored twice here in the first half. Ball taken at about the 10-yard line. This is one of the up men out to the 30. Maurice Turner does the ball carrying for the Phantoms. Turner's been a busy man here in the first half, has 2 touchdowns, one of 17 and one of 62 yards. Threw a 58-yard gain in there with that. He's got over 150 yards in the first half.
That's amazing to have that many yards already, Tim. That's a tremendous effort for the whole game.
Tony Miller, who looks like he might be wearing a flak jacket. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure they've got what they call rib pads, Tim, that they really get hit a lot of times around the ribs, and they protect, special ball carriers got to protect the ball and all. So looks like that's what he's got on. It's almost like a flak jacket.
Second down and 9. Pitch back. This is Turner. Turner is met and stood up at the 35.
Well, he did a good job of avoiding the tackler. He just did a little sidestep, and one of the Kecoughtan Warriors just went flying right on by him.
Among others, David Heath for Kecoughtan in on the stop. Pickup of 3, and let's watch this again.
Watch the Kecoughtan Warrior come flying by him right there. He just kind of steps right by him, and that was an excellent effort on the runner's part. That was Miller, wasn't it, Tim?
No, that was Turner.
See, okay.
See, I'm not the only one. Good, quick look in, has enough for a first down. So this works real well for Phoebus, as Tony Richards is there as Chris Witz looks in and throws that quick pass, enough for the first down at the 41-yard line. Here we'll see it on the replay, and I'm talking about quick look in. Look at this. Witz fakes and just in all one motion throws quickly to Richards. Richard, as you see, dragged down from behind, but not before he gets the first down. They'll mark it at the 42. That's Phoebus 42. Inside handoff for a couple more. This is Tony Miller. Some of the Kecoughtan cheerleaders wearing their corsages, as this is homecoming for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Warriors trying to upset the highly touted Phoebus Phantoms. Phantoms trying to get back into the groove as they lost that game last week. A good game between themselves and Hampton. Phoebus played a good ball game. They just got beaten by a real good team. 44-yard line, and of course Phoebus is looking to advance to regional play with the different divisions that they have now. This is Chris Witz, and he does a good job of getting away from a couple of would-be tacklers and gets a first down. So he'll have them all marked at the 47 of Kecoughtan, and he picks up the first down for Phoebus.
Well, Tim, we're seeing some tremendous runs here by the offensive ball carrier, but it also may be some sloppy tackling on part of the defenders.
Look at Witz. Good move to get inside there. And you're right, the tackling there was suspect because he really could have been stopped far further back, but good effort by Chris Witz. First down at the Kecoughtan 47. Turner is stopped cold. Good effort by David Heath of Kecoughtan. That's not the first time he's been effective on defense tonight. I'm sorry, I'm hearing something from the director, but I'm not sure. Witz, the left-handed passer's got Mike Artis all alone at the 25-yard line. He's going to score. Mike Artis will waltz into the end zone. A 47-yarder. Make that 48-yarder.
Tim, there was nobody around Mike Artis that time. They were looking for the run, and nobody, I don't know the defensive back on that side, but that was his responsibility. And by the time he got over there, he just went right on by him. He just made a step right on by him because he was coming in late, but he already had the ball that time. But Mike Artis did an excellent job after he catch the ball. As you see him sitting down on the bench, he's taking a real deserved rest.
So we've seen the big play tonight. There you see, or you don't see, but the extra point was converted. Kevin Rogers kicks the extra point. And we've got an injured Phantom on the ground on that extra point. I'm not sure who it is, but they're attending to him.
Looks like number 71, Tim.
Here's the replay of the pass. And he faked us out too, as Mike Artis was got behind the Kecoughtan secondary. And the player, again, I'm not sure who that is. I think, as you said, you think it's number 71?
Well,
Bob?
it's a 70-something, Tim. I don't see a 71 on my roster. So, but it's one of the big linemen.
While they're attending to him, we want to update those of you that may have just joined us. You're watching the game between the Kecoughtan Warriors and the Phoebus Phantoms, played Saturday night, October 15. There you see big number 73 for Phoebus is up, and Chris Black is his name, and he looks like he's going to be okay, just shaking up a little bit. He's a big one, too. I wouldn't want to get him angry. We're talking 6'5", 258.
Yes, he would tower over both of us. Maybe if I got on your shoulders.
Our score is 21-14. We have seen the long touchdown tonight, a 48-yard pass play, a couple of 62-yard runs. And it's 21-14, Phoebus on top by 7. In a wide-open football game, kind of game the fans like to see. This ball is taken at the 22 as it was fielded by the ball player with his knee on the ground. That's Nick Bowen. That's where they'll place the ball. There you see Mr. Bowen as he and his teammates trot off the field, get the offense on, and see if Curtis Buggs and company can get one more score before halftime here. 5:51 to go. Clock is moving. You joined us late. Turner on a 96-yard drive on the opening kickoff capped that drive with a 17-yard touchdown run to make it 7-0. And then Becknell tied it at 7-all with a 62-yarder. Turner came back with a 62-yarder of his own to make it 14-7. Back to the play here. Curtis Irving gets 3 or 4 more than he might have. It looks like he got almost 8. He should have been stopped for about 4. But a good second effort on Irving's part.
Well, he got real low, Tim, and it doesn't give him a real good angle or a very good target to hit when you run real low, as we'll get to see a replay of that coming up here.
Anyway,
but he kept his head low. As you can see, he gets the ball, he comes into the line of scrimmage, he just goes right underneath people and just keeps right on going.
That's when the coach tells you, keep those knees driving. Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. All the way out to the 40-yard line is Joe Becknell. And a first down for Kecoughtan. Anyway, to finish the recap here, Turner responded with a 62-yarder after Becknell had tied it, and that made it 14-7. Then Irving, who we just saw moments ago, on a 3-yard scamper, made it 14-all, and then a 48-yard pass play from Chris Witz to Mike Artis has given the 7-point lead to the Phantoms. First down for Kecoughtan, the ball at their 40. This is Irving again for about 4. In on the stop for the Phantoms was number 58, and that would be Doug Glover.
Tim, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but Phantoms have coming in before they came in the last game was one of the top teams on defense, and Kecoughtan seems to be able to run pretty effectively right up the middle against them. I don't know whether some of the people are hurt or what the problem is, but Kecoughtan's doing a good job opening up the holes, but they don't have much time here if they want to score before halftime.
3-yard gain as they ruled his knee had touched at the 43. This is, again, Kermit Buggs as he almost got away from everybody. He gets a first down inside Phoebus territory at about the 43-yard line. So Curtis Buggs shows his effectiveness carrying the ball.
Well, the ball has not been passed many times tonight, Tim, but every time it's been passed, it's been a success. Buggs passed twice. Both of them were completed. And I haven't seen, that was an excellent handoff. It looked like he had given the ball off. And then he just kept the ball and went around the left-hand side. Did an excellent job stopping the clock by going out of bounds.
John Ross and others over on the stop. First down for Kecoughtan at the 43. Second man through is Becknell. He crosses the 40 to about the 37. So Kecoughtan is showing, as they have throughout the first half, that they can run against Phoebus, as you mentioned.
Well, Tim, they are exploding off that line of scrimmage. They are really
Let's give credit to
opening
the Kecoughtan offensive line. You're absolutely right.
They are opening up some holes, and we'll get this chance to see this on replay. And we sure want to thank Joe Lewis down there in the truck on this instant replay. He's doing an excellent job. And, of course, he slipped me a few bucks to say his name a few times tonight, too. Did I tell you that?
No. I didn't know Joe had any money. Pick up a 5 yards on that last play. 2nd and 5. Buggs wants to pass. Now he's getting pressure. Throws it and more or less throws it away. It was in the general vicinity of a receiver, and that'll probably prevent him from getting a flag. But that was a good heads-up play on the part of Buggs.
It most certainly was, Tim, because he was going to get thrown for a loss had he not thrown the ball, and he did just throw it away, and that was smart play.
Here are some of the attendants for tonight's homecoming ceremonies and their dates. Here's a replay.
He gets pressured here, and he has to get out of the pocket. And, of course, running to the right and running left trying to throw with your right hand is tough anyway. But I don't think he intended to complete that pass.
2:45 left in the half. Ball is loose. Becknell didn't get his handle on it, but he is the man to recover it. So he was a very alert young man to fall on that. The option play there just didn't work right for Kecoughtan. It went back, and Becknell never had it. And then there you see a good shot at Joe.
I think the ball was just really pitched too high, Tim. I'm not sure. We'll get a chance to see that on replay. As he comes down, it was a good pitch.
It was a good pitch. He just didn't get a handle on it.
And so the Phoebus ball player, Ellis Boyd, almost got the ball.
In deep punt formation was Kecoughtan, and a flag goes down before the ball is snapped. Illegal procedure. Apparently one of the linemen went into a three-point stance and then may have raised up from that and will be charged with an illegal procedure call.
Kecoughtan had a good drive going there. Tim had a good chance of getting down to get a score, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal, but now they got a punt.
Brian Reeves will not punt. He's going to throw for it. He's got a man wide open at the 35-yard line. A fake play, and he got just enough for the first down. That's the wrong number 20, Nick Bowen for Kecoughtan.
What a gutsy call, Tim. I mean, he was wide open, but the young man almost took it back and almost lost his first down on his cut. But that was a gutsy call.
Well, when you're 0-4 in the district, you figure, what the heck, right? And what are you going to do?
Here we get a chance to see it, but it's a low snap. And there was no doubt what he was going to, and just kind of lofts the ball up there. I mean, it was up there forever.
Bowen was wide open, and then you saw the very end of that play. He just got enough for the first down. This is Curtis Irving down to the 27.
It was a good thing he was wide open, Tim, because that ball had hung up in the air a long time.
Irving is shaken up as he is favoring his left shoulder, left arm, and he's going to come out of the ball game. So Irving will come out. There you see him favoring his left arm. He'll be replaced by Terrence Gyant. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Terrence. Gyant. Bugs over the middle. He's got it completed inside the 15, in for the score.
Well, we have seen some wild plays tonight, Tim. This is unbelievable.
That's number 80, Steve Maddox.
I know the coaches on both sides are saying, where's our defense? Our offense looking great, but where's our defense?
Steve Maddox, with just 59 seconds to go in the half, takes the Kermit Bugs pass from 27 yards out, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. So just like that, we're back at 21 all. And Kecoughtan has shown, and we'll see a replay of this, they have shown that they're in this ball game for the duration. Watch Bugs on this play. This is a nice play. Just a quick look in. An excellent effort, good effort by the part of Maddox, as he had to leap high in the air, and then he just outraced the Phoebus defenders in for the score. Steve Maddox, 6 foot, 185-pound senior, makes it 21 all.
Well, when you haven't won a game in the district, Tim, you can really be kind of loose and do some things that normally you wouldn't do, and that fake punt is one of them right there. And we're going in here probably at halftime at a 21 all score, because we have just under a minute to go. But we've seen some crazy things happen.
What we're not seeing is what you might be watching in the World Series tonight, a pitcher's duel. This is not a pitcher's duel. We're not going to see a low-scoring ball game. It's already 42 points, and we're still one tick away from a minute left in the half. A bounding ball is fielded at the 10-yard line, and right up the middle goes Artis.
Tim, that happens a lot of times on a kickoff when it's slow developing. The defense will run right on by. Here's that fake punt again, Tim.
Oh, this is a pretty play. It's a pretty play. Brian Reeves lofted that ball up, and there you see him at the. Now he's got the first down there, and as you said, when he got back, he almost took away the first down, which you're not going to see. The coach is
going crazy.
Is right. Chris Witz on a quick pass across the field. I'm not sure where that ball was going. Second down as the ball goes incomplete. Kind of an unusual play. So Kecoughtan and Phoebus are in a shootout here. We've had all kinds of runs and passes and fakes and everything else, and we'll have...
the only thing we haven't had tonight is a field goal for safety.
The night is young. We still have a whole half to go and 45 seconds. Second down and 10. Witz rolls to his left. The left-handed passer gets pressure. Now he's going to have to run with it. Cuts back inside. He could have gone out of bounds. I'm sure the Phoebus coaches would rather that he had. Of course, he picked up some extra yardage by doing that, but the clock continues to move as a result of his not going out of bounds. Close to a first down. It's going to be an inch or two shy of the first down. Third down and inches. They have to hurry it up. 19 seconds and a incomplete pass. Now they're looking at a 4th and inches.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's what I would have called, and I'm sure he wasn't aware of the situation. But first of all, Tim, like you say, he should have run out of bounds. Secondly, he could have quarterback sneak, pick up the first down, which would have stopped the clock. Now he's got 17 seconds. He's got to get the first down. If he's got an incomplete pass there, he loses the ball. So he's got to get the first down.
Because of the glare on the scoreboard, you can't see it, but 17 seconds is the time remaining. And it's 4th down and inches, and now he'll do just that. He'll keep the ball for the quarterback keeper and get the first down. They'll stop the clock just long enough to reset the chains, and now Phoebus will call a timeout.
Here we see him on the run, Tim, and it looks like he wants to pass it, and he decides to go ahead and run it. And as he gets down here close, he steps back inside. He should have dove out of bounds at that point, maybe stopped the clock. But again, it's easy to stop here to see what's happening, and you get down in the field, all you're doing is trying to survive.
No question that he did dive forward for 3 or 4 yards. So I think we're going to have to take a quick break.
Sounds good, Tim.
We'll be back in just a moment after this brief pause. 13 seconds remaining in the first half. We're knotted up at 21-all. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble at Todd Stadium in Newport News. In motion goes Turner. First time we've seen Phoebus use motion tonight. Chris Witz is in trouble, gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers, and then, does he take a header over the bench? And he pops right up, so it was a lot worse looking than it was. Chris Witz did the low hurdles with just 5 seconds to go.
He used his shoulders to knock the bleachers over, but that was not wasn't a penalty situation. He was just gumming out of bounds and couldn't slow down. We may get a chance to see that
see again.
I don't know where our cameraman was. Should have been right there, right?
Because he got in trouble real early in this play because Kecoughtan rather put good pressure on him.
He does a good job of avoiding both tackles there, and you can see as he comes out of bounds, he gets pushed a little bit, and we lose it on the end. We don't get to see
We'll hopefully save that one for you and watch. Here's Witz unloading a Hail Mary in the end zone, and it's dropped probably intentionally by the Kecoughtan Warriors because that does end your first half of action as time runs out. So Witz threw long to end the half, and we go in score tied at 21-all. We're going to be back here at Todd Stadium with some halftime statistics and the second half of action. Hope you'll stay tuned right here on Channel 29, your station for high school football.
A public service of the Hampton City School System, WHCS, Channel 29.
All right, we got Bethel coach Kozlowski. Coach, your thoughts at 21-21 at halftime?
Well, you know, it's a very exciting football game, enjoyable for the spectator. Coach D obviously has his hands full. His team hasn't recovered from last week's shocking defeat at the hands of Hampton High, and also the fact that Kecoughtan is playing inspired football tonight, and they're just moving the ball at will on that vaunted Phoebus defense.
Guys, you had a tough loss last night and a long trip back today. I think it took about 6 hours getting back. Now, what about getting ready for Phoebus next week, coming off of a loss?
Well, in a way, that'll be an advantage. Sometimes your players get a little complacent and think they're, kind of riding on top of the world. We played well enough to win. We didn't have that killer instinct. We had 2 other opportunities to score other than the one that we did. We missed the extra point after a 5-yard penalty. That hurt. But really, everything's on the line next weekend. It's a championship game in Division 5, and it pits us and the Phantoms over to Hampton University, and we're looking forward to it. We remember that 42-21 defeat last year, and we're going to be there, and I'm sure they're going to be there too.
All right, Kaz, good luck next week.
Thank you, A.G.
Kozlowski. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and you just heard from A.G. Wobble talking with Dennis Kozlowski, the head coach of Bethel High School. And our condolences to Dennis and his team for a hard-fought loss, single-point loss way outside the district, a 6-hour drive from Pulaski County.
That's a heck of a way to go and come back on the defeat, Tim. You go out there and you play a game, and then you have 6 hours on a bus to think about it on the way home. I'm sure these young men made a lot of mental calculations and adjustments on the way back, but like Kozlowski said, they remember the 42-21 thumping that they got last year from Phoebus, and so they're looking for next week's game. I see you got some statistics here for us from our statistician.
Jerry Zomplis has provided me with more stats than I know what to do with here. He's, for Phoebus and Kecoughtan in the first half, we're tied at 21. Phoebus had 8 first downs. Kecoughtan had 10. Rushing yardage is phenomenal, as those of you obviously that watched the first half know. Phoebus had 202 yards rushing. Kecoughtan with 158 yards. Passing, Phoebus had 2 out of 5 attempts for 58 yards. 3 out of 4 for Kecoughtan, including the fake punt where Brian Reeves threw. That was a 21-yard pass that Reeves threw to Nicky Bowen. And that is 3 out of 4. No interceptions for either team here. We're watching the play toward the end. This is that play at the end. Watch the follow through. We get it all the way through. Chris Witz goes head over heels over the bench and popped right up. If we had seen the very end of that, he popped right up and ran right back out of the field. So we're very happy that Chris Witz did not suffer an injury as a result of that tumble. Third down conversions found Phoebus converting 2 out of the 3. Kecoughtan had 2 out of 2 conversions. Penalties, 1 penalty against Phoebus for 10 yards, 3 against Kecoughtan for 25 yards. The time of possession is almost identical, 11:45 for Phoebus and 12:15 for Kecoughtan. So the score is tied at 21. The stats are relatively even. The individual stats are interesting. Joe Becknell for Kecoughtan has 4 carries for 77 yards. Irving has 10 carries for 27 yards. And Buggs had 5 carries for 50 yards. And Terrence Guyant had 1 carry for 4 yards. Passes, Buggs, as I mentioned, he was 2 for 3. And Reeves 1 for 1. And receptions found Fluellen with 1, Maddox with 1, and Bowen with 1.
You have on your statistics here, Tim, 2 of 2 on third down conversions and 1 and 1 on fourth down conversion.
That's right. And individually for Phoebus, the big man was Maurice Turner. He had 9 carries for 160 yards in the first half. 2 of those big ones, 58 yards, and the touchdown of 62 yards. Tony Miller carried the ball 8 times for 18 yards, and Chris Witz had 4 carries for 24 yards. So a high-scoring offensive first half. To recap the scoring for you, the scoring, well, I'll do them when I can here. We're about to set to get underway as the teams are back on the field. Homecoming ceremonies have concluded. Phoebus will be kicking off Kecoughtan to start the second half. It's a low kick. And out to the 32-33 yard line. Kecoughtan will set up as we had a seesaw affair in the first half.
Well, somebody was saying earlier, Tim, that whoever has the ball last may win this game.
It does appear that way, as we saw 6 touchdowns in the first half. Some real offensive explosions, as we had not only 2 runs of almost identical yardage, 62 and 63 for Turner and Becknell respectfully, but a 48-yard pass for a touchdown, a 28-yard pass for a touchdown, and a 17-yard run.
And this kind of football is good for the fans because there's a lot of excitement.
And we urge the fans to come out to these games. You know, of course, Todd Stadium is the site of this game. This game played Saturday night, the 15th of August, 1988. Next Saturday, the 22nd of October. I said August, I meant October. We'll have Phoebus and Bethel at Hampton University. And we urge you fans to come out and see that ball game. It's a 2 p.m. afternoon game at Hampton University. Come out and support your team in what should be a great showdown between Bethel and Phoebus.
And Tim, that is going to be one fired up bunch of athletes out there on that field next Saturday afternoon, because both of those teams have a chance to go to the Division 5 playoffs. And of course now Bethel with 2 losses, and of course if Phoebus can come out of here with a win, they will only have 1 loss, so that really puts the pressure on the Bruins. Some of the coaches do believe that the team can get into the playoffs with an 8-2 record. 7-3 is going to be pretty hard to get in with.
Ball at the 36 is 3rd down and 7 for Kecoughtan. Buggs still has the ball, gets pressure now, rolls out, rolling to his left. He's a right-handed thrower. His intended receiver fell down, as down the field the intended receiver for Kecoughtan was Steve Maddox, who came up with a big touchdown grab in the first half, but he fell down in his efforts to get open. And the ball goes incomplete, stopping the clock with 10:13. I remind you that there are 12-minute quarters in high school football. We're in the 3rd quarter. We're tied at 21. Reeves, no fake this time, and Phoebus was rushing. Mike Artis is back deep for Phoebus, and he's going to let it roll.
And that really gives them quite a run. That ball was kicked from about the 37-yard line, Tim, and it's way down there inside the 25. So that was a good lot of distance on that kick for the Warriors.
41-yard punt for Reeves. So not only has he been successful passing the ball tonight, but he gets off a good kick as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt he wasn't going to try it again that time on that fake punt. There was nobody lined up wide to the sideline anyway. But now we see if Phoebus can do something with the ball to begin in this 3rd quarter.
Sticking to the ground, very little passing in this ball game. Only about 7 passes attempted at all. You know, getting to the Peninsula District standings and the records, as you mentioned before, Bethel now is 5-0 in the district. Phoebus is 4-1 in the district. Hampton is 5-0, make that 6-0 now with their victory Friday night. So it is a real scramble, and as you said, with the fans may not be aware of the division playoffs, but teams from the same district, such as Phoebus, Bethel, and Hampton, at this point are all contenders for either Division 6 or Division 5 playoffs. 2nd down and about 6. Artis on the screen pass, looking for a block, and had 1 man to beat, or he would have gone all the way.
That was an excellent play. He got some blockers out there in front of him. That's tough to throw the ball clear across the field like that with a zip on it, but Buggs did. I'm sorry, that wasn't Buggs. That was Witz did a good job of getting that ball to Artis. And here we can see it on the replay, Tim. He just steps back, fakes a handoff, and just fires that ball as hard as he can across to Artis, and you see he's trying to set up some blockers there.
Well, that's why I referred to it as a screen pass, because it was kind of like a screen pass in the sense that he was trying to isolate Artis in the flat with some blockers in front of him. Tony Miller out to about the 45-yard line. They'll mark it at the 44. Pickup of about 5. 2nd down and 5. 8:13 remaining here in the third quarter. There you look in, see a couple of Newport News finest down on the sidelines. Maurice Turner, the ball carrier for the Phantoms. We have another big game coming up in the not too distant future here. Of course, Saturday the 22nd will be at Hampton University for Phoebus and Bethel, and then we will be having the Hampton-Bethel game, a little encounter that both of these teams will be looking forward to.
Yeah, that's the 5th of November, Tim.
5th of November, Saturday afternoon ball game. First down for the Phantoms. They needed about half a yard. Tony Miller gets the first down yardage for the Phantoms.
And this is just kind of ball control here. If the Phantoms could get the ball and keep the Kecoughtan Warriors defense on the field, they may be able to wear them out, Tim. And I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, but they're doing a good job of just driving that ball down the field. You can see that replay of that first down.
Miller with good drive in those legs. Chris Witz on the option, cuts inside for about 3. Witz has shown his ability to run in the past. He's a good-looking quarterback, and he's a left-hander, which always throws a monkey wrench at the defense. You know, you get used to a right hand. Here you watch him on the replay. He turns it inside and gets about 3 as he lunges forward.
Well, Tim, and also something you'll find, most teams are right-handed, not only right-hand quarterback, but right-hand oriented. They'll go to the right side of the line of scrimmage all the time. And if you notice, the Phoebus goes a lot to the left-hand side.
Turner having trouble getting a handle on it. That's Maurice Turner, who had trouble with the pitch, and it was, well, we'll have to, if we have it on the replay, I think you might see that the pitch was not thrown as well to him as it could have been. See how I had trouble with the numbers, the folded numbers. See, it was a good pitch.
He just didn't get it couldn't get his hands coordinated or whatever, but he just
Witz
couldn't handle it.
Witz threw it right to him, but he just couldn't, as you said, couldn't get a hold. So it's 3rd down and 9 for Phoebus. They certainly are trying to keep this drive alive. This game tied at 21. Witz looks, throws, and has it picked off as his man Artis was open, but it was overthrown. And here comes Joe Fluellen. And Fluellen returns the ball to the 40-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors.
Well, Tim, that was just a pass that was overthrown. I mean, Fluellen was sitting back playing the defense the way he's supposed to, and that ball was just overthrown and went right to him. He made a good job of picking up some blockers. As we can see, the pass here, it just gets away from Witz and went right over the head of Mike Artis.
Good job. Did you see that switch of cameras on the instant replay?
I tell you what.
We're getting like the big boys now. This is Irving looking for some yardage. Gets about 3.5, 4.
And I do want to, again, let the people know that, this is something new we're doing this year with this instant replay. And Joe Lewis is doing an excellent job of picking these plays up for us. And as you said, we switched cameras and everything that time. That was something I didn't know we could do.
Yeah, I had noticed it earlier in the game that we did that. And, again, the networks have highly priced and highly sophisticated equipment. And we have some good equipment. It's certainly not of the caliber of theirs. And we flags all over the place as Bugs is tripped up at the line of scrimmage.
And it may have been illegal procedure on the Kecoughtan that time, Tim. That's where the flags look like. We'll see what the official says. That's Dave Riesbeck, the umpire.
And, of course, Bugs coming off with a hand injury, and that could be real trouble for Kecoughtan. Kermit Bugs has come over to the sideline, obviously in pain. Let's see on the replay if we can pick up the illegal procedure. I didn't see any movement there.
I didn't either, Tim.
Bugs is tripped up and he lands on his hand. And
he came off holding that hand. And I can see Coach Conrad's got him down on the sideline right now talking to him. And I don't know what they're doing with the hand. As you can see a good shot of him. And maybe AG can get down there and see what happened. And that's his throwing hand, too. It may be.
Might have landed on his funny bone or something.
Well, it could be he could have sprained the wrist or something. But we got a new quarterback in there now.
On the option play.
And I tell you, Tim, he called his own number. That was number 10. Freddie Williams. He said, listen, I'm going to be the quarterback. I got to know what it's like getting hit.
Well, I think that's probably a good play because it gets you that, gets that initial contact made and gets him a chance to get in the ball game. There you see they're working on the hand. It doesn't look too serious, but it is his passing hand, the passing arm, his right arm.
That was a good fake in the center of the line, but he was no doubt in his mind he was going to keep that ball. He wasn't even looking for the pitch man because he had a nice alley there to run the ball in.
Pickup of almost 7 for Williams. Getting his chance to play with the injury. Inside handoff for Joe Becknell.
And Tim, he's going to be about a half a yard to a yard short. And this is a 4th down situation for the Warriors.
3 minutes, 20 seconds. The clock is moving here in the 3rd quarter. The first quarter saw 42 points put on the board, and so far we've been scoreless here in the second half.
And they're looking like they're going to punt, Tim, so let's see what they're going to do. They may have another fake punt here.
Ryan Reeves comes on. I don't think they'll do it 2 times. Phoebus is ready for it. They put pressure on the kick. And
excellent kick.
Good kick. He turned it over, and it's taken as a fair catch at the 15 by Mike Artis. So good field position, or I should say good kicking position for Phoebus as they get themselves out of a little bit of trouble.
Well, let's hope that Bugs isn't injured too much. It looked like he was trying to see if he had any strength, and I saw Coach Conrad working with him down there. And I want to say something about Coach Conrad. His wife was due Monday, and I asked him, has she had the baby yet? He said, not yet, but she's ready, but she was going to come to the ball game. So I said, well, if you have to leave in the middle of the game, we'll understand why.
There you see him.
But I hope everything works out all right for Rivas. I'm sure that it's hard to concentrate when you have a young'un on the way.
Pickup of a couple of yards for the Phantoms. It's Maurice Turner carrying the ball.
Here's a nice shot of that, the replay of that last one, Tim. It's just a straight handoff, and it was an excellent defensive play. The tackler just fought off the block. And we've seen that play more than once, that little quick look into the tight end. They run that against Hampton. And I'm trying to see the number on that was, looked like big Tony Richards catching the ball.
Number 88, Richards, is right. Third down and inches. Good defensive surge by Kecoughtan. It's going to be real close.
Tim, I don't think he made that because he was going at an angle, and if he didn't go straight ahead.
I said third down and inches. It was third down and about 2. And you're right. He needed to cross the 25 to get the first down, and he did not get it.
And that means the ball turns over. Evidently it was a fumble or something, Tim. That was not 4th down, was it?
Not according to the yard marker.
No, so he must have turned the ball over. Maybe we could see what happened. Looked like number 50 for the Warriors that came up with the ball.
Now this is the previous play, the look-in pass to Richards.
Well, that was Curtis Wilson that got tapped on the head by Mike Horton as he came off. He's a young man that has been out about 4 or 5 games, and they're really glad to get him back.
Kecoughtan has called a timeout as they have gotten the ball at the Phoebus 25-yard line. We apologize for not being able to determine how they got it. I did not see the fumble, and the yard marker on the far side of the field indicated it was a third down. So I can't, and in my wildest imagination, I can't see Phoebus going for it with 4th and 2.
Oh, not from
on their own 25.
Yeah, not at that position on the field. So evidently it was a fumble, and I'm just assuming that Curtis Wilson came up with the ball because he's the one that got patted on the head by Mike Horton as he came off the field.
Let me take a minute, if I may, with 1:21 left here in the third quarter to recap the scoring for you. If you joined us late in the first half, we had all our scoring in the first half at 7:45 of the first quarter. Maurice Turner scored from 17 yards out, making it 7-0. A 96-yard drive on that play. Then Becknell, there you see on your screen, Curtis Buggs testing that right hand. 63-yard carry for Joe Becknell, and we're back to live action.
And Tim, there's the kind of a fumble that you expect to see when you have a different quarterback in there working with the center. And there was just a mishandling of the snap of the ball, but the Warriors did end up with it, but that gives them a second down now.
No gain on the play. To continue the recap real quickly for you, Becknell scored from 63 out, making it 7-all. Then Turner returned the favor 62 yards to make it 14-7. Kermit Buggs is back in the ballgame now for Kecoughtan. So that hand will be tested here, and he does all right on the handoff. This is Irving. Curtis Irving down close to the 15-yard line. Irving, as they get to this point each time, Irving scored to make it 14-all from 3 yards out with 9:42 to go in the second quarter. Then Artis was on the receiving end of a 48-yard pass, making it 21-14, and Maddox made it 21-all with a 27-yard catch for Kecoughtan.
And that's just a slant, Tim, and he just picked a hole, and then he put his head down and ran. We back to live action. It looks like he picked up the yardage needed for the first down.
So I'm sure the Kecoughtan faithful are happy to see the number 1 quarterback, Kermit Buggs, back in there. Williams did a good job while he was filling in for Buggs.
Well, he sure did, Tim. He came out kind of moving his shoulder like he got hit or something. I noticed as he was running to the sideline.
Just 8 seconds left, and that will apparently be the last play of the third quarter, as we're down to 2 seconds, and there is no way they'll get this play off before the quarter ends. So we saw 21 points scored by each team in the first half. Here in the third quarter, neither team is able to score.
But it's still been exciting, Tim, and
yeah,
that's what you want to see with these fans. I think we got AG down there getting ready to say something.
Tim, Bob, we got Kevin Beard here, 87 graduate of Phoebus High School. Kevin, things are looking kind of rough for the Phantoms right now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they're going to have to play tighter defense, and offense is going to have to get more consistent in order to win this game right now. They're looking kind of bad, but I think they're going to bounce back. Though.
All right. Kevin, you're over there at Norfolk State. You got a little injury this year, but y'all had a big win today. Tell us your thoughts on that big win over Hampton University.
Yeah, if we didn't win today, boy, the fellas at Hampton University were going to joke me, so I told the fellas before the game started that y'all had to go out there and win this one. Don't win it for me, but just think of me when you playing, though. And I think they did that, and they went out there and had a big victory today.
All right, Kevin, thanks for talking with us. Good luck over there at Norfolk State.
All right, thank you.
Kevin Beard. Tim Bob.
Well, we remember him from last year, Tim. He was definitely one of the starters for the Phantoms.
I thought we had a phantom interviewer there for a minute. I couldn't find him anywhere.
Oh, unless he's on the other side there. He's looking for the cheerleaders or something. I don't know what he's looking for.
There's a pretty young cheerleader right there getting her face on national television here.
There's a nice crowd here, Tim, for the homecoming for the Warriors. As we're getting ready to see if the Warriors can jump ahead here.
Kecoughtan with a chance to go ahead for the first time in this ball game. They're 1st and 10 at the Phoebus 13. Buggs looks in, throws, touchdown!
Oh, Tim, that was an excellent pass right between 2 defenders. But he rifled that ball in there. He couldn't have put it in any better to score that touchdown. But I know number 80 for the Warriors, Steve Maddox, is a happy young man coming off because he did a lot of concentrating to get that ball into his hands. There were 2 defenders right there.
Ryan Reeves on to try the extra point. The kick is up, the kick is long enough, and it's good. So Kecoughtan trying to pull a big upset here, and we'll see a replay of that touchdown. You see Buggs throws over the middle. Good concentration by Maddox right between 2 defenders. He had it all the way.
And he had to get that over the inside linebacker, Tim. So that was not an easy pass. It kind of looks easy from our angle, but he had to actually throw it over one and then drop it down before the other two defenders had a chance for it. Excellent pass.
So Maddox now has scored the last 2 touchdowns in this ball game. He had one with just a 1 second less than a minute to go in the first half to make it 21-all. And now he has put Kecoughtan ahead. Hey, Gene, do you have something for us? I thought I heard AG's mic on, okay. I'm not even sure where he is now. But the Warriors are on top for the first time. Brian Reeves kicks off. Taken at the 5-yard line. Out to about the 28, 29-yard line.
Well, that was number 22.
That's Maurice Turner.
Maurice Turner running that ball back.
24-yard return out to the 29. The Phantoms now find themselves trailing 28-21. Their highly touted defense has not been that effective tonight. Kecoughtan has done a good job. Chris Witz pitches out. That's Maurice Turner, who had 160 yards in the first half carrying the ball. 2 of those, one for 58 and one for 62 yards. Watch on the replay. Maybe, there we go. Let's see Turner trying to get outside, looking for a block. One of those little switches. This is a fake. Witz throws it down. He's got it. Mike Artis has got it at the 20-yard line all the way down to the 5.
Tim, that was an excellent throw.
Late flag.
Witz just threw that ball. We got a flag, Tim.
Got a late flag. I don't know whether that's going to be a dead ball foul, or I'm not going to even speculate what that will be, but there is a flag down in the backfield. 2 flags, as a matter of fact. But Mike Artis on the receiving end had our camera people faked out, and they've been doing a great job, so that had to be a good fake.
Well, Mike Artis just went on a fly pattern, Tim. He just took off and ran hard. Oh, wow, this personal foul.
Phoebus.
But it depends on where the point of where the ball, when the infraction happened, if it was a dead ball foul or what. If it was, then they'll come up where the ball is spotted and mark it back 15 yards.
I think that's what they're going to do.
That's what it looks like what's happening. But he just went on a fly pattern, and Witz just dropped back and threw that ball, and Witz caught it in stride, Tim. He didn't even have to break stride to catch that ball.
That ball was thrown, the line of scrimmage was the 35, and he got all the way down to the 8-yard line. Now, they're going to penalize Phoebus, but it could be worse for the Phantoms because it will be from the point that the ball was downed rather than nullifying what was an excellent play for the Phantoms. Now, they'll lose yardage back. It'll be 15 yards. There you see.
But it'll be 1st and 25, Tim, because it will go from the first down marker. Well, actually, yeah.
It'll actually be 1st and goal.
1st and goal, because it was at the 8. Right. You're right. It's 1st and goal from the 20. Looks like from about the 22.
So the Phantoms get a break of sorts. They were guilty of the infraction, but it was ruled a dead ball foul, and for that reason the play stands, and they are penalized 15 yards. Chris Witz wants to throw. He does. Down inside the 10-yard line, another flag goes down. Tom Bodie, who's been used sparingly on offense tonight, he does go as a two-way performer for the Phantoms.
Illegal receiver.
Almost exclusively defense tonies.
Tim, that's an illegal receiver downfield, and if I'm not mistaken, that may be loss of down also. We'll see if the referee Riesbeck puts his hands behind his head. If he does, that is indication of a loss of down also. And here we can see one of the big linemen, number 73, or somebody is downfield. I'm not sure. Yes, number 73, as you can see. And you see the official. Yeah. I mean, it was an excellent call.
He just got caught. Well, I think he thought that it looked like a busted play of sorts. It looks like Witz went back and moved the wrong way, perhaps, or one of the ball carriers, running backs, went the wrong way. I'm not sure which it might have been.
Well,
but
Tim,
then he improvised and unfortunately had a lineman downfield. Now he's telling the wide receiver
to get off the line of scrimmage.
Artis on the halfback option. He's got him open at the 5. Touchdown.
And Tim, he acted like he was so mad at that guy. And that may have been an act, I'm not sure, but what a play. Artis does everything. He runs, he catches the ball, and he passes to number 1, John Ross.
We've got it on replay for you. It was a flea flicker from the word go as
and there may have been a little bit of acting going on there, Tim, when he was throwing tell him, get back off the line of scrimmage, get back off the line of scrimmage.
We'll show it to you after the extra point try. Trying to tie the ball game. The kick is long enough, and it's good. So the pitcher's duel continues.
Here we go. See, you can see him waving Ross back, say, get back, like I'm mad at you, get back off that line of scrimmage. So you figure, now he's sure going to get the ball, right? They're mad at me. So he's going to come down, we're going to pitch the ball, and Artis just take it, and he is wide open. Look at that. He had, in fact, had to kind of wait for the ball. And, of course, it was not a Kecoughtan Warrior in sight.
So Mike Artis throws to John Ross for 27 yards and a 28-28 lockup.
But, Tim, we have seen everything where it comes to scoring just about tonight off of fake passes, a flea flicker of sorts, a halfback pass, and some tremendous passing and running. It's definitely a game for the fans tonight. Got the defensive coaches really scratching their head, though, I'm sure.
Short kick taken at the 18-yard line. This is Nicky Bowen, and he's driven out of bounds at about the 35, 36, maybe 37-yard line. So Kecoughtan will have good field position. As you said, we've seen it all tonight, and it's been that kind of entertaining ball game. Hope you fans at home are enjoying the game. We'd like to hear from you. Good or bad, we'd like to hear your comments. 851-8411 is the number at the Hampton City School. We'd like to hear from you. Give us a call. Here we see the replay of the kickoff. Bowen does good, starts to go up the middle, then he sees an opening to the outside. Gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers and then gets good return yardage out to the 37.
And did a good job of switching the ball to the other hand too, Tim.
Irving loses a couple. Good defensive effort for the Phantoms by number 58, Doug Glover. Irving loses 2.5, almost 3.
Well, Tim, we haven't had an overtime game this year, but there's no ties in AAA football that if we get to that point, we'll be able to explain it, but we will walk away here. Somebody will win, somebody will lose.
They've marked the ball at the 34 for Kecoughtan. On the draw play, this is Irving. Irving gets a couple. Again, in on the stop was Doug Glover, number 58 for the Phantoms. And we'll also give some credit to number 68, Vince Kirkendall, who was also in on the stop. See a replay of this. 9:13 left here in the ball game, or I should say in the fourth quarter. There you see the draw play to Irving. Sees the middle is clogged up, moves to the outside, and then waiting for him was Kirkendall and Glover. Bugs gets some blocking, throws long, and it's short. Contact between Artis and the intended receiver. I believe they'll rule incidental. That's Ellis Boyd.
Well, Tim, Ellis Boyd was trying to come back to get the ball and actually slipped.
Joe Fluellen is.
I'm sorry.
I did the same thing. Yeah. Joe Fluellen for Kecoughtan. The ball was underthrown.
Right.
So what happened, Artis and Fluellen both came back, and the officials, I believe, just ruled that it was incidental contact. I think it was a good no call.
Oh, I think so, too.
So Reeves will be forced to punt. He'll be standing back at his 25 when he gets it underway. Good kick. At the 28, fair catch called for by Mike Artis, as they really don't want to take any chances right now. Phoebus has showed their ability to move the football, and as you said, more than likely this game will be decided by the team who has the ball last.
And here we can see that last play, Tim, and it was just he threw it up, and it's hard to get a lot on it when you run in the opposite direction in which you want to. But there was little contact there, but it was incidental. But in the sense that he was actually falling down. He had lost his
an argument that was offensive pass interference because
in fact that was what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay, first down for the Phantoms at the 29.
And that's Bodie running the ball, Tim. We saw him come in earlier in this quarter and catch a long pass.
Bodie has replaced Tony Miller in the backfield for the Phantoms. Bodie is the starting running back in that position.
Well, he is a tremendous fullback, Tim.
Because of injuries, he has been replaced by Miller for the better part of this game. Now, I'm not sure Miller's been shaken up or whether it's just a matter of going with the more experienced Bodie. Pickup of a yard. Witz pitches back to Turner. Turner makes a nice move to get away from one would-be tackler and then gets the first down. So Turner showed some fine moves as at halftime he had 160 yards. I got my illustrious statistician down here to let me see his sheet for a minute. I could tell you how many yards he's got currently.
Well, we can see the play as Chris Witz goes down the line of scrimmage and fakes the handoff inside and punches it out to Miller. And Miller does a couple of juke steps there, get away from some people, puts his head down and just dives forward just before he gets tackled out of bounds.
Turner with 186 yards on 15 carries tonight, or carriers. To the 45, Bodie. Rather, Turner. I looked away for a minute. I thought it was Bodie because he's much stockier.
Yeah.
So Turner carries to the 45, pickup of 2. 2nd and 8 as Phoebus looking to break this tie. 7.5 minutes remaining. We're knotted up at 28 all. It was 21-21 at halftime. Witz pitches back. Turner can't get the handle, and he goes down at the 40.
And that was a blind pitch that time. Witz didn't even look for the pitch man, and he just let him too much, Tim. He probably was pitching the ball much sooner than what he wanted to pitch. But here we can see it on replay.
Phoebus called timeout.
Here you can see Witz just pitches the ball and just leads Turner too much. And he did a good job of concentrating, getting the ball, and then he just lost his balance as he was trying to run after getting the ball on a nice hop.
So Turner will lose a couple of yards, not necessarily his fault, but he'll lose about 4 on that. He's got, as I said, over 180 yards on the ball game. There you see the coaching staff, Kurt Newsom.
Revis Conrad coming towards the camera. And there's Al Morrow, one of the other assistant coaches.
Been a good ball game from the fans' point of view. It's the kind of game I like to see. I love to see 35-28 games and stuff like that.
Well, it makes it exciting, Tim. I'm sure as I was saying, the defensive coordinators on both teams didn't want that at all. They would rather find out what the world's happening out there and shore up that defense a little bit. As we're coming off the timeout, you can see Billy D is walking off the field, and here comes Mike Horton coming out for the Warriors. So let's go back to live action with 7:05 to go in the fourth quarter with a 28-28 tie.
3rd down and 12. Witz wants to pass, throws down, has a man open across the middle, and he's got the first down.
Well, Tim, that was very strange, and I'm sure Kecoughtan didn't want that, but they had 2 wide receivers, they being Phoebus, but only 1 defender out there. And when he made his cut, he was wide open, and here maybe we can pick that up, but there was only 1 defender that time as Witz went back to pass.
John Ross was on the receiving end, and Witz did a good job of just rifling that ball to Ross. Ross got the ball. He was hit hard after he caught it.
And that was Curtis Wilson, who just came back, and he's one of the better defensive ball players for the Warriors.
Turner crunched by a couple of Warriors. Among others, 62 in there was Lewis Saunders, and number 50, Curtis Wilson for Kecoughtan, as the defensive team for Kecoughtan has, in spite of giving up 28 points, has played well tonight. They have stopped a good offensive team.
What they have given up, Tim, has been the big play.
Right. 28 all. A little more than 6 minutes to go. Witz throws, and it's deflected away.
And almost intercepted, Tim, by what's that number out there? 66 for the Warriors. Almost come down with that ball. That's Jimmy Bembry. But he went up high as the one that deflected the ball.
We'll watch it again. Clock stops with 5:58. Good play action fake by Witz. Then he throws it. And it was, as you said, the Bembry had a better chance at it than the intended receiver.
Most certainly.
3rd down and 9 for the Phantoms. In motion comes Artis to the far side, and he's going to get the pass. They've got a blocker out in front, but it doesn't work as well as it might have for Phoebus. Defended quite well, and over there again was Bembry, number 66 for Kecoughtan.
And he's all over the field, Tim, for the Warriors. And here we got a situation. We got a timeout. It looks like an official's timeout.
Well, that's Bembry who's been shaken up on the play. Brian Whitley was in on the stop as well.
Well, that's going to bring a 4th and 3. As here we can see on the replay that Artis just went on in motion, and then they're trying to get a couple blockers out there for him.
Let's see what we can if we can see what happened. Look at Bembry landed on his right leg.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking at. That's Newsom out there with him.
Kind of folded underneath him, and I'm hopeful that Bembry is just shaken up and had the wind knocked out of him. Jerry Z has given me some of our stats here just to bring you up to date as we have this break while we're attending to Bembry. Turner, now as you look at Curtis Buggs, who's had a good ball game for Kecoughtan, he's on the bench taking a breather, of course, as he is watching his defensive teammates trying to stop Phoebus. 185 yards on 18 carries for Maurice Turner. Miller has 11 carries for 29, and Witz with 5 carries for 26.
AG is going to interview the chief.
All right, AG.
All right, Tim, Bob, we do have the Kecoughtan Warrior here, Sean Johnson. And Sean, a lot of scoring tonight. Is this unexpected?
Yep, most of the people in the school, are looking for Phoebus to beat us. But when we feeling like the serious pep rally, got them all psyched up, and they're showing it now.
Now, the Kecoughtan Warrior was not looking for Phoebus to win, was he?
No, I was going for the Warriors. I had them going.
Your prediction on the outcome, we got 5:41 to go.
We'll get them. We'll bring it right back down. If it's not a touchdown, it's going to be a field goal.
All right, good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, not many times we get a chance to talk to a Warrior, but you can see number 66 there, Jim Bembry, coming off, and he is walking real gingerly on that right leg. Let's hope it's just a sprain and not anything serious, Tim.
Here in the second half, Becknell had 77 yards in the first half and has only added 2 here in the second half, while Irving had 27 yards at halftime. He now has 42. Buggs has 53 yards on 6 carries.
Well, Tim, there evidently has been some defensive changes made during halftime, because there were 42 points scored in the first half and only 14 scored the second half so far.
4th down, a big 4th down for Phoebus. We have less than 6 minutes to go in the ball game, or at least in regulation time, I should add. As you mentioned, Bob, no ties in high school football. There will be overtime if needed. 4th and 4. Phoebus, I believe, tried the old irregular cadence count, and Kecoughtan didn't fall for it.
They sure didn't. That's one of the things that Hampton High does rather successfully. We have seen Hampton do that many times in the past, and that was an excellent call by Coach Billy D. If you can get him to jump offside, or actually all you have to do is get into the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, you got your first down. So that was an excellent call.
Let's give credit to the Kecoughtan Warriors. They stayed home.
They most certainly did.
They did not fall for it, and again, you have to question whether or not they were coached to do that. Of course, you don't move on defense until the offense snaps the ball, and they did a good job of maintaining their discipline. So, we've heard about Kecoughtan being a young team and maturing as the season goes on. They showed good maturity, that good discipline that time.
Well, that injury may have helped them a little bit in that the coaches had to go out to check on Bembry there, as you can see him sitting on the bench, and at the same time Maya said, listen, they may try this, and was able to talk to the ball players while they're out in the field without the advantages of a timeout.
So Bembry is being attended to and in some discomfort. We're sorry to see that he's not back on the field of play, but hopefully it won't be anything too serious. So now 4th down as Phoebus will go for the 4th and 4. Chris Witz rolling to his right, throws, it's incomplete, as it was a good throw, but a tough catch had he made the catch. That was John Ross, who dived for the ball, but he couldn't come up with it, and Kecoughtan will take over on downs. So the Kecoughtan defense has come up big when it needed to. Let's see if we can watch this again. Witz, again, I got to remind you now, he's rolling to his right, and he is a left-hander.
He does a good job of squaring his shoulders up, Tim. Like you said, that was a good pass, and it was low. Nobody else would be able to catch it, but it just didn't come up with the catch.
Ross made a good try at the ball, but just couldn't quite hold on. Kermit Buggs. Not much happening there for Irving. Curtis Irving in there. Phoebus Eddie Horn, 89, in on the stop. And now an official's timeout. We have another injured player. We've got a Phoebus Phantom down. And I can't make out who it is, and I won't speculate at this point.
Booker Cox.
Looks like it's Booker Cox is the big young man. He's 6'7", 285 or something for Phoebus, is maybe the one that'd be hurt. Tim, it's going to be hard coming up with the player of the game, but I would like to throw my vote to Mike Artis, who seems to be doing everything tonight for the Phantoms. So that's my consideration for him. So we'll see if what AG and you have to say.
Ball is loose. Let's see who's got it. They say Phoebus does.
Oh, that's a big turnover, Tim.
Haven't seen yep, they're going to change the chains. Phoebus has come up with a loose ball. There's a Phoebus player down, so on successive plays, we've had injuries to Kecoughtan and Phoebus players. We're going to watch the replay, see if we can pick up what happens.
73 for the, that's Big Curtis Black for the, he's 6'5", 258. So they're getting down underneath that pile, Tim, and somebody's fallen on their legs wrong or something, but there was evidently a loose ball in that thing because the Phantoms did come up with the ball.
Well, that is correct. The Phantoms have recovered the fumble. I did not see who recovered it. It happened so quickly and in a large mass of players, but regardless of who did, it is in fact the ball belongs to the Phantoms. And there you see Chris Black hobbling off the field. Hopefully he'll be okay. So the Phantoms now with 4:30 and the clock moving. I'm reserving my choice as player of the game until I see who scores the winning touchdown. Pitch back. Turner looking to go around the right side, loses his footing. And again, the pursuit of Kecoughtan had as much to do with that as anything. Joe Becknell, number 1, forced Turner outside. And when he did so, Turner lost his footing.
In fact, he lost about a half a yard too, Tim.
Yep, it went laterally instead of forward. Inside of 4 minutes to go. Curious to know what the kicking proficiency for Phoebus might be as far as any field goals attempts. Inside handoff, reverse goes to Mike Artis. Kecoughtan is waiting and ready for it. No gain again.
Well, Mike Artis has done everything tonight, Tim. He's run the ball, he's caught the ball.
I heard your selection for a player of the game.
He's running back on punts and kickoffs, and he plays defense.
You
he's knocked the
salesman
ball
or
down.
something else. I'm seizing. Mike Artis has done a great job. There have been a lot of key offensive players tonight.
Absolutely, Tim. And I don't mean to suggest any otherwise.
In motion is Turner. Fake handoff, look inside, no good, and it's 4th down. So the quick look in that has worked well for Phoebus on occasion tonight doesn't click this time. And instead of ending up in the hands of Tony Richards, the ball goes incomplete. See if we can see a replay on this. You see the fake, the look in, and it's just too low. Hits him in the knee. Is actually
well, Tim, happened. I don't know if somebody tipped the ball or not. It was hard to see, but it was real low. Now we got a timeout because we got a 4th down. It's too long for a field goal because he would be kicking about a 57-yarder from that point. So they've got to make a decision on what they want to do. They're going to go for it, or they're going to really put Kecoughtan in the hole and try to get a turnover. We'll have to see.
Bill D coming out to discuss the situation with his team. And of course his counterpart Kurt Newsom doing the same for the Kecoughtan Warriors. We want to take our hats off to our crew again for doing their usual fine job. Our camera people have done a great job again tonight keeping this action in for you. We remind you that these people are professional in their attitudes, but they don't get paid the big bucks like NBC and CBS, but they have progressed beautifully from when these proceedings first started, and our coverage has just gotten better and better. And our hats off to our camera people and our slow-mo, and of course our director, Mr. Scotty Bowers, is doing a great job these days. So all of our crew, we thank you again. We, as you said before, Bob, we do the easy part. We come up here and just describe it as they do a great job of bringing it to you.
And they show it to us, Tim, and you're right. Well, they're going to punt, which I think is a smart move on.
And of course, Phoebus will hopefully keep it out of the end zone, but they are unable to do so, as the ball was kicked nicely and a good effort.
But Tim, it just about did not make the end zone. So that,
of course, the line of thinking for Phoebus was to put Kecoughtan deep in their own territory, hopefully hold them on downs, and then get good field position.
Absolutely. You're at the other end of the field. You got just under 3 minutes to go, and again, the pressure here. I don't think there's any pressure in either one of the two teams. What Kecoughtan cannot afford to do is turn the ball over. But if something happens and they don't score, they can hold Phoebus, then we go to a playoff situation at time. And Kecoughtan has been in one playoff situation this year and won that, and that was against Norview.
When you say playoff, you mean overtime?
Yes, I'm sorry, yeah, overtime.
Becknell driving for tough yardage, out for about 5, as he was just determined he wasn't going to be brought down without a struggle. This series finds Kecoughtan leading the series 10 games to 2. Phoebus won last year, but eventually had to forfeit the game.
And here we can see that just as that crossbuck to Bucknell, Tim, but he's hit at the line of scrimmage, but boy, he just does not give up as he drags number 73, Chris Black. He just drug him about 2 or 3 more yards.
And that's a big man to drag for some yardage, too. Bugs has time, now gets pressure, steps up and is sacked. Good job on the part of number 75, and that would be Morris Hicks of Phoebus. There you see Bembry's foot wrapped with ice, and he will not return, obviously, for the Warriors. Let's watch again this last play. Good defensive effort by Phoebus.
And the pocket collapsed on him, Tim, as he started to step up into the pocket. It collapsed, and boom, right there he got caught. Phoebus did a good job of putting a lot of pressure on him with only 4 defenders that was rushing, so that meant they had 7 that were playing pass coverage.
And now a timeout called by the Warriors.
And we got a minute and a half to go, Tim, so we're going to...
All right. Minute and a half to go. We're going to return to Todd Stadium, but first let's take a brief timeout. There you see a part of the big homecoming crowd, and then the banner sticking out the window. That's where we are.
Oh, yeah, right up underneath that banner, as a matter of fact.
No, we're above it.
It is underneath us.
Back to the live action. A minute and a half to go. 3rd down and 10. Bugs looking downfield. Throws. It's incomplete. Incomplete.
Tim, number 80 for the Warriors, had that ball. Steve Maddox had the ball coming and just lost control of it as he came down. But that was a pass right on the money.
Maddox has been in the scorebook twice tonight with touchdown receptions, but he couldn't hold on to that one. Phoebus now has failed to get a first down in their last 4 possessions. Let's watch the replay. Bugs does a good job of throwing this ball on the money. Throws it, gets hit right after he does. Threw the ball right in the hands of Maddox, but he had it stripped away from him. As we're back to the live action, Reeves kicking away from Mike Artis, takes a Kecoughtan roll, and it'll be whistled dead at the 36-yard line.
And Tim, we have 1:10 to go, and I look for this game to go into overtime. And while we have a chance, let me explain what overtime means. In high school football, what they'll do is they'll take about a 2 or 3 minute break. They'll get the captains out. They'll flip the coin. And then whoever wins will take the ball at the 10-yard line. They'll have 4 plays to get it in, either by a touchdown or an extra point. And then the other team will have
touchdown or a field goal, you mean?
Field goal, right. And the other team will then also have 4 down, so they'll just keep going back and forth until somebody wins.
And what is it? It's not sudden death, though, right?
No,
we'll get to
sudden
that
death.
as we go along here. Each team has an opportunity, and when you finally fail on your opportunity, then you lose. Turner gang tackled, much to the delight, as you can hear, of the Kecoughtan fans. They are fired up tonight. Kecoughtan not expected to be in this ball game quite this much. Have given Phoebus everything they wanted and a lot more.
There was a shot of Danny Mitchell.
Well, I know that as we saw, Coach Kozlowski, of course, for Bethel here, Wentz is going to air it out. He throws it long. It's incomplete. Stopping the clock with 19 seconds to go.
Tim, when Kecoughtan went over and played Norview, Norview had the ball first, missed their chance to score on their 4 plays. So when Kecoughtan got the ball on the very first play, they kicked a field goal. They didn't even go for 4. They just took it right away because all they needed, whoever scores first whoever has the score after both teams have a chance for the 4 plays.
You saw that replay as Turner hit the middle of the line and 5 Kecoughtan Warriors just drove him back.
I don't know if I made any sense on that last thing, but I know what I meant.
I knew what you meant. And that worries me. On the flea flicker, Artis, who's thrown for 1 touchdown, throws downfield. It's incomplete. Incomplete. So Phoebus pulling out all the stops.
And Tim, there was somebody else. There's a flag on the play, but let me tell you who else was out on the pass pattern that time was Chris Witz. He pitched the ball and he went around the left-hand side on a pass play.
The penalty is against Phoebus, and it is ineligible receiver downfield. And it's declined, and it'll be 4th down.
Now watch Witz go. You miss him, but he's going right around as an eligible pass receiver.
Artis got popped just after he threw that ball. And the ball was thrown, and it could have been caught, but it just was dribbled and then pounced on. Boy, look at him go through the air in an effort to get that ball. I tell you, Kecoughtan has shown me a lot of spirit tonight. This team is 2-4 in the season, 0-4 in the district, but they don't play like it.
No.
They've played a real inspired ball game.
Well, I talked to Tyrus Woodard, one of the Kecoughtan coaches of the first of the year, and he says we got a lot of young ball players, especially on our line. We got a lot of sophomores, and he says we're going to take some lumps this year, but he says you watch out for us the next 2 years because we're going to be tough. And of course, you're now towards the end of the season, so these guys that were really having a hard time at the beginning of the season are now with a lot more experience and really know how to play ball a little bit better. They're starting to show some maturity out there.
We're looking at a 4th down and 8, and we have a punter in deep punt formation at the 25. Kecoughtan puts a somewhat reasonable rush on, but they're not even going to try and return the ball. It's 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and the blowing of the whistle with 1 second to go and the regulation time. So few people would have guessed that this game would end up in overtime.
Well, Tim, there was no way that I would have predicted an overtime. but there's no way I would have protected 56 points being scored either in regulation.
So they start the clock, and the time has run out. So unlike years past when it would just stand as a tie, this game will be played until there is a victor. So overtime looms, and as you mentioned, Bob, again, to repeat for the fans who may not be familiar, you see AG down there. AG got some cheerleaders, I see. We're going to interview some of those young ladies, AG.
Tim, who's going to win this game?
A predictable response, I might add.
But I tell you what, does he get attention with that microphone or what?
Yep, and the cheerleaders, of course, have to be very happy. Their team, the decided underdog coming into this game. They haven't won it yet, but they haven't lost it yet either, as you said. So to recap for the fans and myself, I really haven't ever seen an overtime game.
Okay.
We've never had one. But
what happens is one team is going to take the ball at the 10-yard line. It's got 4 plays. Now, you know, they can kick a field goal right away, or they can score and then kick the extra point. Then the other team goes down and has 4 plays. You keep doing that until you, after the end of the 8 plays, there is a winner. Somebody is points ahead.
So it goes until someone wins.
Right. There's no such thing as sudden death.
Would you, as a coach, prefer to be the first or the second team?
No, the first. You want to be the first. You want to put pressure on them. You want to score the touchdown. Of course, if you fail to do anything, then the other team come down and just kick a field goal on the first play and win. But you don't want to be playing catch-up. And that's what Kecoughtan has done all night long. He's been playing catch-up. So they'd like to get the ball on the flip of the toss of the coin here. They'd like to get the ball and be down there to score first, Tim. Or try to score first.
With one exception during the game, you're right, that Kecoughtan had been behind. They trailed 7-0, tied it at 7-all, trailed 14-7, tied at 14, trailed 21-14, tied it at 21. Then in the second half, the only scoring in the second half by each team, Kecoughtan came out in 13-yard pass to Maddox with 11:56 to go in the regulation time, made it 21-28, and then Phoebus had to come back from behind as Artis threw that flea flicker to John Ross from 27 yards out to tie it at 28-all. The kickers have been perfect tonight on the extra point tries, and that would have been a real heartbreaking situation had someone mixed that extra point.
Well, we got Kermit Buggs out there with John Ross, and they're going to flip a coin, and we got AG out in the middle. Let's see if we can pick up what they're saying.
Well, what we do is we have it the other way around. We got Becknell out there for Kecoughtan and Witz.
Each team gets a series of downs at the 10-yard line, okay? Series of downs at the 10. Any change of possession kills the ball. You cannot score off a change of possession. Each team gains an additional timeout. You both have one. Here's a head. Here's a tail. White, you're the visitors. You get to call the toss.
Tails.
Tails, he said. It is a head. Green, you can choose offense or defense.
Defense first.
You want defense first. Which end of the field would you like?
There's an interesting point for you.
It sure is.
Would you want to go towards that goal, all right? Let's turn around so the folks on face it home. It doesn't matter. Okay. White, run the toss, and they're going offense this direction.
I would go offense first.
That's right. He wanted
your defense
is going offense that way. Okay.
Has done a decent job. They've given up a lot of big plays tonight, but Kecoughtan won the toss, and you opted to get it on take defense first and offense second. They know they're going to get the ball for 4 plays on this overtime situation. That's not the way I'd have gone. Of course, I have been wrong before, especially when I talked to the Hampton coaches. I figured they're not going to pass. They passed. And we got Lanny Franklin, one of the assistant coaches, up here with us right now watching the ball game. Lanny, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Did you expect to see this type of scoring tonight?
I didn't expect to see that type of scoring, although Kecoughtan's been improving every week. And Phoebus seems, at the end of the game, they seem to be getting tired. So I think the momentum is really here with Kecoughtan. They have everything to win and nothing to lose. So it's been a real good game.
Well, it sure has, Lanny. And maybe they're getting wore out because of the pounding they took last week. I don't know. But that was an excellent game that the Hampton and the Phantoms played last week, and it was a real physical game. And I talked with the Phantom coaches, and they said they had some boys that were hurt coming into this ball game. They were playing hurt. So that may be why they're looking tired.
right, we thank you, Lanny, for your input into that. Phoebus now, as you mentioned, Bob, will have 4 plays from the 10-yard line. Of course, they don't have to use all 4. If they score on the first play, then it's going to be a score. But it's just like having a first and goal at the 10.
Well, Tim, you also noticed that they took it on one of the hash marks. They did not take the ball spotted right in the middle of the field. They took it on the far hash mark, and you notice they are a left-hand oriented team. They're running more plays to the left-hand side.
It's a second of 4 plays if needed. They're at the 6.
And now the pressure is on because they got to do something by putting the ball in the air, perhaps, in this situation. But they do have 4 downs, Tim. They will get the ball in somehow. But if they kick the field goal, then you really put pressure on Kecoughtan to score a touchdown to win the game. Because if you kick a field goal, then it just goes back to 4 downs for each team again.
Ball is just inside the 5-yard line, and the 3rd of 4 downs. Chris Witz, and he's not going to get in. So you're right. This is a big decision now. This is the same thing that Kecoughtan had happen with them over at Norview. If they can hold Phoebus out of the end zone, all they have to do is walk down to the field, the other end of the field, and
they'll kick a field goal on the first play, Tim. They won't even run the 4 plays. But you also heard the officials say that each team is now awarded an additional timeout. So we'll get a chance to look at this on replay. What Witz did was we're not going to get to see that. Now, wait a second. We got a timeout or something coming up.
Okay. So Phoebus will, in fact, use that timeout because they want to talk this over. There's no tomorrow, so to speak, with this situation.
Well, and they don't want to get themselves in a situation where they've got 2 losses, because with 1 loss, then that puts the pressure on Bethel High School next week. With 2 losses, then there's an equal amount of pressure on both teams. You can see Mike Horton is running out there for the Kecoughtan Warriors. He's trying to get his defense popped up, and of course Billy D is out there talking to the Phantoms, and they have 1 down now. They've got to do something. The ball is spotted, Tim, on about the 1.5-yard line.
Yeah, really, I think the overtime is a great thing. I used to hate ties when I was watching games before. This way, it really adds an extra dimension to the game.
Well, they used to say tying is like kissing your sister, you know. But I like this much better. You have it in the playoffs, so why not have it during the regular season too? This way, you get your power rating is much easier to calculate, I guess. I don't know.
Of course, Saturday afternoon, we are aware of the fact I saw the last part of the game between Notre Dame and Miami in a nationally televised college game, and here you see the replay of Witz. It looked like kind of a busted play. He just climbed over people to try and get in the end zone. Anyway, Miami came back and could have taken the 1-point conversion and tied the game, but went for 2 instead. Pitch out, Turner, score!
And they went outside, Tim. They tried 3 plays up the middle and could not score, so they went outside and went to the right this time rather than to the left and got the ball in. Now this is a very important extra point.
Maurice Turner scores his 3rd touchdown of the night. And that's why I reserved my opportunity to choose my player of the game. Although, you know, there should be some consideration given to the Kevin Rogers, the kicker, because he has been perfect tonight. If, in fact, that's who this is. I got a 21 that says it's, whoa, boy, he just barely got it over the goalpost.
It doesn't make any difference how it gets over. It doesn't have to be Purdy. Just get over.
We're going to watch the replay now. You see the pitch out from Witz, and Turner just races for the corner and beats the Kecoughtan defender to that corner. I was going to ask you, I never got a chance, I'm going to ask you what the play you would use because of the situation. And of course, Turner has been the speed man for Phoebus all along. And what the heck, you got to figure once in a while, instead of trying to go up the middle, they had no success there. Because Kecoughtan has really done a good job of bottling up the middle.
Well, they really did, Tim, but they didn't have a man on. No defender was covering the pitch man that time. When they had to make sure that they didn't let him get wide. And they were concentrating on the middle too much that time.
So Kecoughtan, 4 downs. They don't, the ball comes loose. They're going to rule the ball was down. Now that brings up a good question. If the ball is turned over, that's it?
That's it.
So it's just like as if, again, you were in a first and goal in situation.
Well,
so
right now, this is really pressure on Kecoughtan. They've got to score a touchdown and kick the extra point.
Let's watch this replay. That was a real close call. And, of course, a fumble call is always a difficult one to make like this. They're going to rule that he's down and the ground cannot cause
that
the
was
fumble.
close, Tim.
It was close.
And it looked like he moved prematurely also.
Becknell, no, he does not get in. He's down to the 1.
Well, Tim, if he could have fallen forward, he would have got the touchdown, but they knocked him sideways.
Did a good job getting down to the 1-yard line. Joe Becknell carrying the ball for Kecoughtan. Now they still have 2 downs, and they're at the 1-yard line. And should they score, then we'll do this all over again.
Right, but Tim, what's really amazing is the way Kecoughtan is going right at the heart of that defense.
And no touchdown. A flag goes down now. A flag could be most instrumental in this play. There was not a touchdown as the quarterback keeper from Bugs was not even close, and it's going to be illegal procedure against Kecoughtan. So, boy, is this going to be a big one.
It's going to take it back to the 6-yard line, but you still have 2 downs to get it in, Tim.
Or do you decline the penalty and make him go for that last effort?
No, you got to make him go back to 6 yards. You got to give him
I knew that.
2 downs. No way you decline that and let him have a 4th and 1.
Well, it certainly speeds up the effect if you did. There you see the yellow hanky, illegal procedure, the call. Now Kecoughtan is going to use their timeout as Kermit Bugs will want his coach, Kurt Newsom, to come out there and give them some words of wisdom. Phoebus trying to hold off. Now it's in essence 3rd down and goal at the 6. Kecoughtan must score a touchdown. They must kick the extra point in order to have a chance to be in this ball game. Of course, as you said, if they can score and convert, then they'll do this all over again. I think it's a wonderful innovation to the high school game. As I said, I hated those ties.
Yeah, I did too, Tim. It's just the thing that really concerns me is that you give up, you let the other team score first, and I'm not sure if that's not what happened over at Norview, that they did the same thing in Norview. I don't know, but now they got a third down, 6 yards, and what you got to do is spread that defense out a little bit.
Bugs keeps on the option. He goes in. Yes, touchdown.
Oh, what an excellent play by Kermit Bugs.
Now, do you go for 2 or do you go for 1? Good
That's
point.
exactly what Lanny Franklin just asked me.
I'd go for the 1.
You go for 1 or go for 2?
I go for the 1 and take my chances on the next series of 4 downs. And I think that's the way that Kurt Newsom's looking at it too. He's got to get a man on though, a late arriving player. He's got to get set. This is an all-important extra point. Reeves never kicked one more important, and it's good.
Now we go back and do the same thing again. We got people dancing in the aisles up here tonight.
If you don't like this game, you don't like football. Look at this.
That's okay, Sam.
Warriors.
She's allowed to do that.
I mean, it's exciting. Watch this replay now. Bugs fakes the handoff to Becknell. He's got a trailer in case he needs him, but he sees he's got a shot at it. The defender tries to shove him out of bounds before he can get in.
And he did a good job of making sure he got his feet in the end zone.
All right, so Kecoughtan gets the score after the penalty that backed him up to the 6. It was 3rd and goal at the 6 on the overtime. You just joined us. You have missed a terrific ball game, but you haven't missed the final part of this ball game because they're still in overtime. Maurice Turner scored to put Phoebus ahead, and now Kermit Bugs has scored for Kecoughtan.
And both scores were done going outside, not up the middle. Although Kecoughtan had more success moving the ball up the middle between the tackles on Phoebus than what Phoebus did against Kecoughtan. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen here, whether Phoebus is going to go ahead and try to go outside right from the get, Tim. Now, looks like they got the ball spotted in the center of the field. Now, whether they can move it to the hash marks, which I would assume they would be able to do.
Well, this brings up an interesting question now. Does this, who goes first, continue to be the same situation?
I think it stays the same, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm getting an affirmative from Lanny over here.
The officials are discussing something, obviously. I'm not sure we have an extra headset for Lanny. I wouldn't mind getting Lanny on with us here to get his insight. I think we do have a headset, so maybe we can wire him for sound. Is this your first effort at...
You see if you can get it plugged in.
All right, I got it plugged in. Lanny, give us a test.
Testing.
All right, we got him.
You're on camera. I mean, you're on sound.
You're on something. Lanny, would you again explain to the fans who you are and what your capacity is?
Well, my name is Lanny Franklin. I'm an assistant coach at Hampton High School. I'm in charge of the kickers over at Hampton. And this is my second year with the program.
And you're scouting the game tonight, are you?
Well, we just come down here to watch a good game tonight. Coach Smith is down in the stand somewhere, and Coach Mitchell.
Well, I saw Danny. They were panning through the crowd, and I saw Danny because you've played both of these teams. You're not going to play either one of these two teams again, but it's they may do something tonight that you might see next year.
That's right.
Well, you know, there was that last year when Hampton played Kecoughtan twice, I think.
Let's jump down to AG real quick. What was that?
Well, Tim,
on?
Bob, what the referee said was there'd be no more coin tossing, just alternating choices.
Okay.
That's what that means.
All right, Lanny was right on target with that. So we'll be alternating now. Kecoughtan will have the chance to score first, and Irving goes in on the first drive. So Curtis Irving puts Kecoughtan on the board, and now the pressure's on Phoebus.
Well, we got that all-important point after coming up, Tim. Lanny, how come Kecoughtan had the ball first this time?
Alternating choices.
Okay, alternating choices. All right.
If it goes back again, Phoebus will be on offense.
Okay.
Did you agree, Lanny, with Kecoughtan's choice to be on defense?
Well, with the kicker they had, you see, they know they probably automatically have 3 points. So they want to make sure, you know, they'd hate to get in the 4th and 2 and kick the field goal, then give Phoebus the ball and them have the opportunity to score. Once they know what Phoebus is doing, then they can go ahead and make their decision. Because like I say, they're pretty sure they have 3 points from that distance.
And here we can see that replay. There's just a straight dive right up the middle. And they opened up a beautiful hole that time. Number 80 for Kecoughtan through a tremendous block. And that's Steve Maddox, who's been on the receiving end of some passes tonight. He opened up a nice hole that time. So now we got the pressure the other way around. But isn't it nice to do it on one play?
Yeah, you get that over with. Irving with his second touchdown of the night. Curtis Irving puts Kecoughtan ahead. The extra point was good by Reeves, as you saw.
And now you see
42-35.
Excuse me, you see Phoebus clear on the other side using that foul marker again, and may have an offside or an encroachment against Kecoughtan.
That's what it is. So that's going to be a big break for Phoebus there. They're going to get 5 yards without even snapping the ball. Artis was coming in motion to the near side, and as he did so, the official ruled Kecoughtan had entered that area and a 5-yard penalty. So Phoebus, with it still four downs, now will do it from the 5. So that's a big break.
Oh, it definitely is a big break. But now you got to make your defense get real tough out there. And of course, if you take the ball away, that ends it right there.
Tough yardage inside. Kecoughtan has done a good job on defense on the short yardage situation tonight. They've given up the big play. We will certainly not deny that. But their defense has played well at times.
Well, they most certainly have, Tim. But I have no idea that we would see 77 points scored and possibility of 82.
42-35. 84, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. 84, you're right.
That's all right. We lose track of these. You told me you didn't have your computer with you. It's second down. Is that a fumble or a flag goes down now? Does Kecoughtan have the ball? Let's wait and see.
And that's it. And that's the ball game.
But a flag is down. Let's make sure that that flag is not against Kecoughtan. They are rejoicing. We have not seen a signal yet. Well, I guess we have now. We don't see anybody.
Well, the officials are walking off the field, Tim, and that kind of is an indication that the ball game is over.
So Kecoughtan has pulled the upset.
And what a big upset they have. With the 3 games they've won this year have been upsets, Tim. As we can see, it looked like Miller was going into center and just lost the ball. And, of course, you turn the ball over in that situation, that's it.
That picture says it all for Phoebus. The agony of defeat.
Well, those young men played a hard ball game tonight to come up empty-handed, but both teams played tough tonight.
AJ, take it away.
Curtis Irwin scored a winning touchdown. Curtis, has to be a big moment in your life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's no upset. We came to play. We came to play. Although our record doesn't show it, we always come to play. And
what was the difference tonight?
The difference, well, really, just defense. Really, we came out to play offense and defensive. Hard ball.
Great game, Curtis. Good join your teammate.
Thank you.
Curtis Irwin.
Curtis Irving, my choice for the player of the game for Kecoughtan. I hedged on you. I apologize, but you had to figure out who scored the winning points, and that's who it was. Curtis Irving, 2 touchdowns.
Well, I'm going with Curtis Irving for Kecoughtan, but I'm still going with Mike Artis for the Phoebus.
Oh, yeah.
Because he did do just about everything out there that was asked of him tonight. And I see you got some final statistics there, so maybe you can go over some of those before AG gets somebody else on camera.
All right, first downs ended up, well, AG's got somebody done. Let's see who you got, AG.
Tim, Bob, we got Mike Artis. Mike, great game for you individually. It has to be a tough loss for you. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was a tough loss for us. What back next week.
Okay, can this team regroup now and go the rest of the way?
Well, we're going to be down, of course. Well, I hope we can come back and bounce back.
Mike, you played a great game tonight. Good luck to you. Mike Artis.
That's tough to get somebody to talk, Tim, when you've lost the ball game.
And a heartbreaking loss, the second in a row for Phoebus. They were undefeated in their first 5 games and then have tasted defeat twice in a row. Last week, beaten by a Hampton team that beat them well by 20 points. And then tonight they lose in overtime as, who we got now, AG?
We got David Robinson. David has to be a highlight of your career here with the Warriors.
Yeah, like 3 years, 4 years. JV on up in varsity, background, my brothers and stuff. Learn from them, you know. Work their forearm.
Did you think you ought to score 42 points tonight?
Yes, sir. Deep. Deep. I think we did good job.
Okay.
Good job.
Great game. David Robinson. David Robinson.
AG, thank you. And again, I tell you, this was a super ball game from the fans' point of view. Of course, Bill D will dispute the outcome as far as how super it was. But it
no
was
doubt about that. But this is the homecoming. That's the game you're supposed to win, Tim.
That's right.
The homecoming.
Let me run down some stats for you real quickly here. First downs were even. Rushing 253 yards for Phoebus, 215 for Kecoughtan. Passing 186 yards for the Phantoms, 84 for Kecoughtan. Total yards 439 for Phoebus, 299 for Kecoughtan. Obviously an offensive game, 42-35. But the difference in the ball game was the fact that Phoebus was able to, or rather Kecoughtan was able to score that touchdown and then get that turnover in overtime.
Yeah, and it really surprises me that they scored so easily on one play. We got AG with somebody else down on the field, Tim. Let's go on down to AG.
That's Joe Becknell.
Tim, Bob, we got Joe Becknell. Great game individually. Joe, your thoughts on this big win?
Well, we just practiced hard all week. It was a rivalry. We just wanted to show who was king of Woodland Road, and we did it.
This overtime had to be one of the thrilling games on the district this year, not only this year, but several years. Your thoughts on being a part of it?
Well, this is our first time beating a Hampton team in 2 years, but we got a forfeit from Phoebus last year. I'm sure they wanted to come out and beat us this year, but we played hard. We've been through overtime before against Northview. We went 2 overtimes this game. We just played hard.
All right, Joe Becknell, great game.
Thank you.
Joe Becknell.
All right. Joe Becknell, one of the key ball players for Kecoughtan tonight. Lenny Franklin, thank you for coming by and visiting with us toward the end of the ball game here.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Lanny.
I know. Who's Hampton playing again next week now?
We're off next week. We have a bye next week.
You got the bye, and then you got the big one with...
then we go to Lafayette.
And then the big one with Bethel High School. Okay.
Right.
And then, of course, they play some team across town begins with a B, right?
Yeah, Bethel.
Boy,
that's going to be, and to tell you the truth, Hampton's looking for that game because Bethel jumped up and beat them last year, and it's going to be a hard-fought ball game.
AG's got Chris Witz down on the field.
Okay.
AG.
Disappointing loss for you, but what went wrong again?
Well, I mean, no matter how good we go, if we give up 42 points, I didn't expect to win, but we're just going to bounce back. This is another disappointing loss. I'm happy for Kecoughtan. They deserve to win. They play very hard.
Chris, you played another great game tonight. Good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Wong.
Chris Witz, fine young man.
He's going to be a nice one over there over there Phoebus, Tim. He just does an excellent job. He's just he is a senior, and he came in this year and has really molded a nice team. You lose 2 games in a row, but let me tell you, you didn't give them away. Tonight, you played hard. The other team got some big play breaks on you like you did on them, and it's got to be heartbreaking. But now Bethel and Phoebus are both with 2 losses. Next week's game is huge. I mean, it really could determine who is going to go to the Division 5 playoffs between Bethel and Phoebus. Both of them could still go, Tim. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard to go in a three losses. 2 losses would be pretty easy to go.
Well, the Bethel Bruins wait for Phoebus. Bethel lost a game Friday night to Pulaski County and a tough 7-6 loss. Dennis Kozlowski, the head coach for Bethel, was here tonight to scout that game. And Bethel will be playing against Phoebus next week at Hampton University. We remind you fans out there, this was a super ball game. I enjoyed this win, lose, draw. Whoever team you were pulling for, you had to enjoy this game.
We got number 16 down at Brian Reeves with AG. Take it away, AG.
Tim, Bob, Brian Reeves didn't miss a kick tonight. It has to be, what'd you get, about 7 points tonight? Have to be pleased with your effort.
Yeah, I feel really good about the victory.
What was working well on the kicking game?
Oh, the snaps and the hold were perfect. They're all perfect. We knew that Phoebus rushed a lot, but our blocking line did very well.
A little pressure on you that in the overtime there when y'all scored and you had to kick that ball.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
I just wanted to hurt and get it over with, really. I just stood out there and did what I had to do.
Okay, great game, Brian Reeves.
Thank you.
Tim and Bob.
All right, AG, thank you. And we want to thank Jerry Zomplis for giving us stats tonight.
Absolutely.
He filled in very nicely in that area. We had,
we had instantaneous stats. In fact, he was handing you notes, and you were saying, what does this mean?
I have stats I haven't even read yet. Well, we're all kind of happy because this has been a good ball game. Of course, Phoebus fans are not happy. They lost this game 2nd in a row, and it does present as Bob said, a tremendous game next week with the Phantoms and Bethel, and they'll be squaring off at Hampton University, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, next Saturday afternoon. Let's get all of you fans out there. You're going to miss a good game if you don't show up. Bob, any final thoughts?
No, Tim, I'm just looking forward to next week's games, and as the season culminates and we get down to the end, we're starting to look forward towards the playoffs, and of course we'd like to get the fans down here to see these ball games. They're tremendous ball games, and we're looking forward to next week's 2 o'clock encounter over at Hampton University with Phoebus and Bethel.
Let's all be out there for that one. It'll be a game to watch. Kecoughtan, homecoming is victorious. 42, Phoebus 35. From Todd Stadium, for Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble and the entire crew, this is Tim Cole saying thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.